Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 151. The identity was revealed. Excuse me, I need to dig a hole to bury someone. Fang Qingran unceremoniously pushed Bailey Qingxuan away and started digging a hole where he was standing. Unknown to everyone, Fang Qingran saved their lives invisibly. Bailey Qingxuan's eyes flashed with cold light. He was extremely sure at this moment that Fang Qingran had seen through everything. Fang Qingran is not only a sword cultivator, but also a formation mage. A 20-year-old formation master is far more valuable than a sword cultivator. During battle, the formation master is equivalent to an auxiliary, which can double the strength of the sword cultivator. One formation master can assist multiple sword cultivators at the same time. But no matter how strong a sword cultivator is, he is still just a sword cultivator. The dozen or so people present looked at each other in confusion. Does this little girl have any obsession with digging holes? Why do you carry so many hoes with you? Except for Fang Qingran, who was digging a hole heartlessly, everyone else had different ideas. Some people were reluctant and said, bury the senior's body here. What if someone steals it? Why not take the body out and choose a good place to bury it? Fang Qingran replied, don't worry, those people can't get in. Why are you so sure? Bailey Xuanqing asked coldly with half-squinted eyes. The poison barrier at the entrance, without an antidote, even false god can't handle it. Fang Qingran concentrated on digging the hole and answered unconsciously. But after we capture the strange beasts, those poisons will no longer exist. Bailey Xuanqing looked at Fang Qingran, and something flashed in his mind. Then you are worried too much. This place was not formed because of alien beasts. Fang Qingran responded casually. Bailey Xuanqing's eyes flashed with light. Fang Qingran, what is your current level of cultivation? The beginning of Yuan Ying. The beginning. Fang Qingran paused. What the hell? Bailey Xuanqing, the sixth child. How did he recognize himself? When they heard Fang Qingran's name, the head of the family did not react, but Xiao Hongyu and the other three looked surprised at the same time. Fang Qingran stopped moving and tightened his grip on the hoe. Really careless. Are you Fang Qingran, the one with the 5 elements spiritual root? Rong Juofan's eyes widened and he stared blankly at Fang Qingran. You only have nascent soul cultivation. How is this possible? Xiao Qingfeng was even more shocked. He had personally tested Fang Qingran's strength. It is absolutely impossible for a nascent soul to withstand the pressure of the false god. Master Bailey, is she really Fang Qingran? Xiao Hongyu looked at Bailey Xuanqing with doubtful eyes. Bailey Xuanqing said coldly, she is the Fang Qingran who was eliminated in the sect conference 9 years ago, and was later admitted to Lingyun sect by Yi Wenshan. Rong Juofan recovered from the shock and asked, are you really a nascent soul cultivator? Does it matter what cultivation level she has? She actually treated a group of us as fools. She is simply seeking death. Xiao Qingfeng's tone was filled with anger. Xiao Qingfeng's eyes were dark. His consciousness was damaged 9 years ago and has not recovered yet. It is precisely because of the damage to his spiritual consciousness that he has been stuck as a 7th level alchemist. Xiao Hongyu's majestic eyes stared at Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran, what is the practice method Yi Wenshan taught you? 9 years ago, you wanted to explore the problem of Fang Qingran's cultivation. At that time, with Yi Wenshan blocking him, he couldn't do anything. Now without Yi Wenshan's protection, he wanted to see where Fang Qingran could escape. Rather than being angry, the other family heads were more curious about who Fang Qingran was. Fang Qingran watched Xiao Hongyu and the others warily. She knew that they did not try to kill her, but it was because the venue was not right at this time. If it weren't for the corpse of the Mahayana Immortal Lord, they would have definitely taken action. Fang Qingran chose to retreat to the cold pool. When that didn't work, she jumped into the water and hid in the void. At this time, a strong pressure instantly enveloped Fang Qingran. A faint red light flashed between Fang Qingran's sleeves. Fang Qingran did not feel the pressure of Zushan. Fang Qingran, do you think you can still escape? Xiao Qingfeng stared at Fang Qingran with murderous intent in his eyes. Fang Qingran must die. Otherwise, if the fact that he was a false god and was defeated by Fang Qingran was leaked, his face would be lost. Fang Qingran held the hoe in one hand, her face was as usual, and she said crisply, I want to get rid of it after using it. Fortunately, I had expected this result and saved a hand. Xiao Qingfeng's face condensed. Do you think a nascent soul's backhand can plot against a false god? How naive. Xiao Qingfeng gathered a terrifying power in his palm and prepared to attack Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran's red lips curled up slightly. Sect Master Xiao, don't you feel that the faster the spiritual power circulates, the more painful the muscles and veins will be? Xiao Qingfeng's attack movement paused, and he thought the sting was an illusion. Xiao Qingfeng thought of the elixir given by Fang Qingran, but had Fang Qingran taken it herself? In order to plot against me, you didn't hesitate to take poison yourself. Xiao Qing asked angrily. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes were like glass, scanning everyone present. Who told you that what I took was poison? Are we the only ones taking poison? How dare you? Xiao Qingfeng's blood surged. Everyone's faces changed. Is there something wrong with the elixir they took? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 152 Runaway Number 1. Fang Qingran waved her hand. I didn't give you poison. After you took the anti-poison pill. The more spiritual power you use, the faster the effect of the medicine in your body will be exerted, and the resistance to toxicity will be weakened, but the poisonous gas is everywhere. Xiao Qingfeng looked at the others and found that their expressions were as usual. I don't feel any pain in my veins, Rong Juofan said. When Xiao Qingfeng heard Rong Juofan's words, the power in his palm disappeared. Immediately, the swelling and pain in the muscles and veins dissipated, and for the time being, there was no problem with cultivation. But it was only after 10 days when the spirit was poisoned that I saw the regression in my cultivation. Thinking of this, Xiao Qingfeng felt panicked. Cultivation is his life, and his cultivation must not decline. Fang Qingran, I will spare your life. Give me another antidote pill. Xiao Qingfeng's tone was gloomy. Sect Master Xiao really treats me as a fool. If I give it to you now, can I still get out alive? Fang Qingran said sarcastically. If she hadn't wanted to buy Yuan Bao time, she wouldn't have led everyone here. Fang Qingran glanced at the cold pool behind her, unsure of its depth. But I can feel the biting chill. If possible, Fang Qingran didn't want to jump into the cold pool. But now that her identity has been exposed, Xiao Qingfeng and others will not let her go. Rather than leaving with this group of people, it would be better to jump off the cold pool and leave through another exit. What do you want? Xiao Qingfeng's eyes flashed darkly. Fang Qingran appeared here, and Yi Wenshan probably came with Fang Qingran. Once you get to the top, it's even harder to get the antidote. Wait a minute, the bones of the Mahayana Immortal Lord have disappeared. The old man who was over 50 years old exclaimed. What? Everyone looked at the place where the bones had been, and there was nothing there. Who took the bones? Someone asked. Xiao Qingfeng had no intention of asking Fang Qingran for the antidote anymore. The bones of the Mahayana Immortal were more important than the antidote. Xiao Qingfeng raised his sword and looked at the old man. Did you take the bones? It's not me, I have the lowest cultivation level. The old man waved his hands hastily. At this time. Rumble. The entire cave shook. Countless dust fell. Immediately afterwards, rubble fell. No, this place is going to collapse, hurry up and leave. Rong Juofen shouted, then rode on the fat tiger and ran away. In a flash, Rong Juofen disappeared around the corner. The barrier has disappeared. Someone must have received the inheritance from the seniors. Someone said. Rong Juofen. It must be Rong Juofen. Xiao Qingfeng shouted and chased him out. Before Bailey Xuanqing left, he looked back at Fang Qingran. Aren't you leaving? Don't worry. Fang Qingran's eyes flashed slightly, and she intuitively told Bailey Xuanqing that she was in danger. Fang Qingran sent a message to Yuan Bao, but failed to contact Yuan Bao. Hurry up and jump. He wants to kill you. Fang Xi's anxious voice sounded in Fang Qingran's sea of consciousness. Fang Qingran's heart tightened as she saw a force coming towards her. Fang Qingran turned around without hesitation and jumped into the cold pool. Boom. Just as Fang Qingran jumped into the cold pool, Bailey Xuanqing's power followed closely, causing a splash of water. Boom. A huge boulder fell down, blocking Bailey Xuanqing from stepping forward to inspect. Fang Qingran, if you can survive like this, you will be lucky. Bailey Xuanqing's cold eyes swept across the cold pool and turned to leave. On the Yuanbao side, when it's half dug. Rumble. In the sky, the sea of clouds is billowing, and colorful auspicious clouds are floating towards here. Among the clouds, countless shadows shuttled back and forth. Shocking power came from the shadow. Above the 9 provinces, countless powerful people can see this scene. Even those old monsters who had been in seclusion for thousands of years were alarmed. Yuan Bao stopped digging roots and looked up at the sky, feeling a vague premonition of something bad. These strange phenomena in the heaven and earth may be related to the things it digs. 7th junior brother, what's going on? Could it be that there's a treasure coming out? Bailey Wenyu looked at the auspicious cloud above his head in confusion. Colorful auspicious clouds usually mean that a unique treasure is about to be born. And when this treasure comes out, it will definitely benefit all monks. Mo Jingdong's eyes were deep. 6th brother, go to each pit, put 18 pieces of top-quality spiritual stones, and draw a flower from the other side at the bottom of the pit. You have to move quickly. This was the first time for Bailey Wenyu to hear the urgency in Mo Jingdong's tone. Bailey Wenyu didn't waste any time and jumped into the first pit. Mo Jingdong came to the side of Yuan Bao and said in a deep voice, you only have time for a cup of tea. After digging, take your things and hide in my space. Can you see me? Yuan Bao asked in surprise. Mo Jingdong's dark eyes narrowed slightly. Hurry up and dig. Yuan Bao trembled and tried to contact Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran didn't respond to it. Yuan Bao was immediately shocked. Once it gets too far away from its owner, it can no longer be invisible. Yuan Bao didn't dare to delay any longer, lowered his head and continued digging. Anyway, Mo Jingdong will never harm his master. At the same time. Swish. Rong Juofen jumped out of the black hole riding a fat tiger. Fortunately, I ran fast, otherwise I would have been buried. Rong Juofen stood at the entrance of the cave, stroking his beard and thinking, if I fill the hole right now, will they not be able to get up? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 153A Bold Combination. Suddenly, a yellow figure came up with a sword. Rong Juofen took a few steps back in fright. Little girl, can't you say hello in advance? You squat at the entrance of the cave to make it more scary, okay. Ning Shiyu replied after landing. Ning Shiyu glared at Rong Juofen, then turned around and met Mo Jingdong's cold eyes. Ning Shiyu felt guilty for a moment. 7th junior brother, I just went down to find my little junior sister. Where is she? Mo Jingdong's tone was slightly cold. I didn't meet my junior sister. Ning Shiyu shook her head. Mo Jingdong's eyes flashed and he looked at Rong Juofen. Did any of you attack her? Rong Juofen looked at Mo Jingdong with horror in his eyes. He had stood there for so long and he didn't even notice Mo Jingdong's existence. Who are you talking about? Rong Juofen put his hand on Fat Hu's head, considering whether to run away. My junior sister is the girl who went in with you before. Ning Shiyu explained from the side. She, Fang Qingran, Rong Juofen asked tentatively. Are these people all Yi Wenshan's disciples? Yes, it's Fang Qingran. Ning Shiyu nodded. Rong Juofen frowned slightly. I ran too fast and didn't pay attention. Mo Jingdong had a cold aura, and his voice was as deep as jade. Have any of you done anything to her? Yes, Xiao Qingfeng. Not only did he take action, he also wanted to kill someone. Rong Juofen tried to trick Xiao Qingfeng and showed no mercy. Very good. Mo Jingdong's phoenix eyes were sharp, giving people a chilling feeling. Rong Juofen was amazed. Yi Wenchen and these disciples were all little monsters. Fang Qinggran Yuanying plays with the virtual god. The coercion of this young master's deity actually made him a little scared even as a virtual god, and he can't afford to offend him. Can I leave? Rong Juofen asked. Next, it will definitely be a journey into muddy waters, and he doesn't want to get involved in it anymore. Mo Jingdong nodded and stood in black clothes against the light. The sleeves moved automatically without wind, showing his supreme dignity. Rong Juofen stepped forward to leave. After taking a few steps, Fat Tiger bit his clothes and pulled him towards Mo Jingdong. Fat Tiger, return to the sect. Roar. Can't leave, there's something good. Fat Tiger looked reluctant to leave. Rong Juofen's eyes fell on Mo Jingdong. Did Mo Jingdong have any treasures on him? Wrong. Rong Juofen looked behind Mo Jingdong. Where was the hole he dug? There is a very powerful aura there. This scent is unheard of, but it's definitely something good. Mo Jingdong's eyebrows were as sharp as swords, and his phoenix eyes flashed with cold light. Is there anything else, Master Rong? I just want to take a look at the hole I dug. Rong Juofen's voice was calm. The yuanbao in the pit was trembling and digging hard, but it was still a little short of the mark. As long as it delayed a little longer, it would be able to dig it out. Mo Jingdong looked at Fat Tiger, his phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. Sect Master Rong, your saber-toothed tiger hasn't been promoted for a long time. Rong Juofen's attention was diverted. It's true that they haven't been promoted for hundreds of years. It's strange to say that holy beasts can obviously speak human language. Unfortunately, something went wrong when Fat Tiger was promoted, causing it to be unable to speak human language. Mo Jingdong said in a deep voice, it has a trace of the white tiger's blood in its body. That blood is too domineering. If it doesn't awaken, it will never advance again in the future. You, how did you tell? Rong Juofen looked nervous. He hid the fact that Fat Tiger had White Tiger's bloodline very tightly. The bloodline of the four great mythical beasts, the White Tiger, once this matter is leaked. Both he and Fat Tiger will suffer. Mo Jingdong's eyes were deep. Anyone who can open his eyes can see it. How could you have the heavenly eye? Rong Juofen was even more surprised. The number of monks who can cultivate the heavenly eye is 1 in 10 million. The White Tiger bloodline is a good thing for Fat Tiger, but it is also a bad thing. The blood of the White Tiger can make the Fat Tiger stronger. But at the same time, it may also bring disaster to Fat Tiger. These are not important. I just want to tell Sect Master Rong that no matter what happens here, don't come back. Mo Jingdong's whole body exudes the aura of a superior. Rong Juofen glanced at the pit behind Mo Jingdong. Okay, but Fat Tiger's matter will always be kept secret. Rong Juofen looked serious. Anyway, as long as there is no bloodline awakening pill. Fat Tiger will never be able to awaken the White Tiger bloodline in his lifetime, and no outsider will find out that he is a descendant of the White Tiger. Mo Jingdong raised his hand and handed Rong Juofen a porcelain vase. This is a thank you gift. I wish Sect Master Rong good luck. Rong Juofen met Mo Jingdong's cold eyes, and there was no greed in them. Rong Juofen took the porcelain bottle and opened it. Suddenly, his hands kept shaking and his eyes widened. This thing. It turned out to be a holy bloodline awakening pill. What he had never dared to dream about in his whole life was actually obtained so easily. Thank you, sir. I will thank you again in the future. Rong Juofen thanked him and left with reluctant Fat Hu. Even the people guarding the outside of Shunghu Ridge have withdrawn. Seventh junior brother, what did you give him? Why is he so happy? Ning Shiyu asked curiously. Fifth senior sister, you should think about how to explain your behavior to sixth senior brother. Mo Jingdong's eyes were cold. During a trip to Shunghu Ridge, he could see that Fang Qinggran and Ning Shiyu were a bold combination. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 154 Killing Formation. Ning Shiyu's face showed a bitter look. Seventh junior brother, can we discuss? At this time, an angry voice sounded behind Ning Shiyu. What are we discussing? Fifth senior sister, why don't you discuss it with me? Ning Shiyu turned around stiffly. Sixth junior brother, listen to me, I have gained a lot from this adventure. The harvest is quite big, at least my life is saved. Bailey Wenyu's eyes were like peach blossoms, and the ends of his eyes were slightly upward, showing a hint of coldness. Ning Shiyu came close to Bailey Wenyu's ear and whispered something. Are you sure? Bailey Wenyu asked in disbelief. Really, you don't have to worry anymore. Ning Shiyu paused, and she saw her own image in Bailey Wenyu's eyes. He had messy hair and a grey face, as if he had escaped from the desert. Ning Shiyu took a deep breath, raised her hand, and turned Bailey Wenyu's face away. Don't look at it. Ning Shiyu performed a cleaning technique and changed her steps. During this period, the three sect masters and several people from aristocratic families came up one after another. When Bailey Wenyu saw an outsider, he straightened his clothes, and there was a hint of pride between his eyebrows. Xiao Qingfeng looked at Bailey Wenyu and Ning Shiyu and asked, Who are you? Passers-by, please leave without delay. Bailey Wenyu pulled Ning Shiyu over to make way for everyone to leave. Presumptuous. Xiao Qingfeng was furious. Today, he encountered some arrogant juniors. The way these people dressed reminded Xiao Qingfeng of Fang Qinggran. Xiao Qingfeng turned around and didn't find Fang Qinggran in the crowd. Fang Qinggran walked to the back of them. It was impossible for him to come up first. Could it be that Fang Qinggran died below? The attention of Xiao Hongyu and Bailey Qingshuan fell on Mo Jingdong. This man's aura was mysterious and restrained, and they couldn't even see through it at all. There seemed to be a breath hidden in the pit behind him, and this breath was very special. There's definitely something incredible hidden there. Could it be a strange beast? Bailey Xuanqing didn't move, but Xiao Hongyu moved first. Xiao Hongyu walked towards Mo Jinggong and missed the bones of the Mahayana Immortal Lord. He didn't want to miss the strange beast again. The moment Xiao Hongyu and Mo Jinggong crossed shoulders, a cold voice came into Xiao Hongyu's ears. Leave. Xiao Hongyu paused, feeling a sense of danger. If he had never met Fang Qingran, who was pretending to be a ghost, Xiao Hongyu might still be afraid of Mo Jinggong. But after Bailey Xuanqing revealed Fang Qingran's identity, Xiao Hongyu no longer believed in the aura of these juniors. Sir, don't be arrogant. If you keep relying on opportunistic methods, you will get yourself involved sooner or later. Xiao Hongyu warned. Leave. Mo Jinggong repeated coldly. Are you Yi Wenshan's apprentice? Xiao Hongyu asked. Probably only Yi Wenshan could teach such a rude disciple. Yes, take your people and leave here. Mo Jinggong's voice was cold and bone-chilling. At this time, Xiao Qingfeng also noticed the strange aura hidden behind Mo Jinggong. Naturally, I also heard what Mo Jinggong said. HMPH, your master Yi Wenshan doesn't even dare to talk to us like this, but you are very promising. Xiao Qingfeng snorted coldly. You're so awesome. Ouch. Ning Xiyu cried out in pain. No swear words. Bailey Wenyu tapped Ning Xiyu's forehead with his hand. Ning Xiyu pursed her lips, as if her sixth junior brother was going to take advantage of her since she made up her mind. It can't go on like this. Bailey Xuanqing asked, where is your master? Ning Xiyu's voice was like a silver bell. Of course I'm on my way here. Ning Xiyu had a headache at this time. How were they going to deal with such a bunch of virtual gods? You have to keep a tight lid on the fact that you got a strange beast. Bailey Xuanqing's eyes were cold. Have I seen you in Chanlan? What Chanlan? Ning Xiyu glared at Bailey Xuanqing. Bailey Xuanqing glanced at Bailey Wenyu a few times, a strange light flashed in his eyes, and did not press Ning Xiyu any further. Bailey Wenyu protected Ning Xiyu behind him and kept a vigilant eye on Bailey Xuanqing. Boom. A spiritual stone hit Bailey Wenyu at his feet. Bailey Wenyu took Ning Xiyu and took a few steps back. Before Bailey Wenyu could speak, Mo Jinggong's cold and jade-like voice came. Master Bailey, is it inappropriate to set up a killing array for a junior? Killing formation. Bailey Wenyu's eyes widened, and he pulled Ning Xiyu and ran to Mo Jinggong's side. These people are so terrible. The seventh junior brother is still safe. He was just testing your strength, and he didn't kill you. Xiao Qingfeng said first. The tacit understanding of the four major sects is expressed unanimously when encountering smaller sects. Mo Jinggong's red lips curled up slightly. Really? But once the killing array is formed, everyone present will be his prey. It will take at least a month for the killing array to take shape. After Mo Jinggong explained in a deep voice, the expressions of those present suddenly changed. I started setting up the killing array a month ago. I wanted to catch them all in one go. Master Bailey, is what he said true? Master Sheng asked. At the same time, the head of the aristocratic family chose to stay away from the sect. Xiao Qingfeng was even more shocked. Bailey Xuanqing, did you really set up a killing array? Xiao Hongyu also turned to look at Bailey Xuanqing. Everyone pointed their fingers at Bailey Xuanqing. At this time, Yuan Bao poked his little head out of the pit. Mo Jinggong lowered his eyes and signaled Yuan Bao to wait a little longer, waiting for the opportunity to pull out the seedlings. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 155 9 State Restricted Areas. The moment the Hongmeng tree is pulled out, a small amount of Hongmeng's power will leak out, and any monk will be able to sense it. Even these people don't know that the aura is the power of Hongmeng. But the benefits of the gift from the power of Hongmeng are enough for them to know that the Hongmeng tree species are heaven-defying treasures. Mo Jinggong was waiting for someone. Only the terrifying coercion exuded by that person could cover up the Hongmeng chi in an instant. Seventh junior brother, should we leave quickly? Bailey Wenyu asked softly. A red light appeared in Mo Jinggong's eyes, and the aura around him was strong. Shunga Ridge has been surrounded. What? Bailey Wenyu exclaimed. Seventh junior brother, the younger junior sister is still down there and hasn't come up yet. Ning Shi Yuing's jade white face showed a solemn look. Mo Jinggong said lightly, she left somewhere else. A flash of hesitation flashed across Ning Shiyu's bright eyes. Could it be that the seventh junior brother is waiting for a strange beast? Should she tell junior brother 7 that the things are here with her? Mo Jinggong's eyes were sharp. Fifth senior sister, do you still have a lot of explosive charms in your hand? Ning Shiyu nodded and said, there are hundreds of level cards and only 10 level cards. Give it to sixth senior brother and throw them all out later. Mo Jinggong exuded a majestic aura. Bailey Wenyu and Ning Shiyu looked shocked. If these talismans were thrown out, this place would definitely be razed to the ground. Bailey Wenyu narrowed his fox eyes slightly and stretched out his hand towards Ning Shiyu. Fifth senior sister, give it to me. Ning Shiyu did not hesitate. Put a handful of talismans into Bailey Wenyu's palm. Immediately, everyone's eyes turned to Bailey Wenyu. Bailey Xuanqing saw a stack of talismans in Bailey Wenyu's hand. Who drew these? Of course I bought it. Bailey Wenyu said in a brisk tone. The 5th level talisman is not for sale at all. Where did you buy it? Bailey Xuanqing's eyes were gloomy. In Juju continent, those who can draw 5th level talismans are always in Bailey's house. The power contained in the 5th level talisman is enough to deal with a monk in the nascent soul stage. It is impossible for the Bailey family to sell such dangerous things to the outside world. Bailey Xuanqing's spiritual consciousness spread and landed on the talisman in Bailey Wenyu's hand. Just when he was about to extract the breath of the talisman, Mo Jinggong pressed his slender hand on the talisman, shielding Bailey Xuanqing from prying eyes. Bailey Xuanqing was forced to withdraw his consciousness and looked at Mo Jinggong in shock. A small transformed spirit could actually resist his consciousness. Bailey Xuanqing said coldly, "Who are you?" Mo Jinggong's hair was flying, his clothes were filled with wind, and he was silent. Bailey Wenyu raised his eyebrows. Seventh junior brother is so awesome. Sudden. Everyone's expressions changed suddenly, and extremely dangerous auras were coming toward them. Sect Master Xiao, I'm afraid these people are coming with bad intentions. Master Sheng said solemnly. Xiao Hongyu's eyes were serious. These people are not from Qingyun Prefecture. Xiao Qingfeng asked doubtfully, are they coming for the strange beasts? Just the strange beasts won't make these strong men break the contract. Something better must have appeared. Bailey Xuanqing looked behind Mo Jinggong. The aura coming from that pit was very mysterious, even more powerful than the aura of the Mahayana Immortal Lord. Bailey Xuanqing stepped up and walked towards Mo Jinggong. With every step he took, a burst of light emitted from his body. A mysterious formation slowly unfolded from Bailey Xuanqing's feet. Bailey Wenyu and Ning Xiyu stood in front of Mo Jinggong. Ning Xiyu's sword took out its sheath and pointed directly at Bailey Xuanqing. Boom! There was an explosion not far away. Then, a terrifying coercion enveloped everyone, making them stand on end with chills. A cold voice sounded in the air, everyone, leave this place quickly. Shungu Ridge has been listed as a restricted area in Kyushu. After the words fell, a golden map unfolded in the air. Everyone looked up at the map. On the map, Shungu Ridge turned red, which meant that the control of Shungu Ridge was no longer in the hands of Qingyun State. The faces of Xiao Hongyu and others became extremely ugly. At the same time, they also saw visions in the sky. Dragons soar and tigers leap, phoenixes dance in the sky. Everyone in the sect and the aristocratic family knew what this meant. Such visions meant that there was a peerless treasure appearing in Shungu Ridge. Why would they want a treasure from Qingyun Prefecture that comes from other prefectures? The people of the sect and the aristocratic family stood together again. Xiao Hongyu, as the leader of the four sects, was pushed out. Xiao Hongyu looked gloomy and said respectfully, are the actions of the venerables too overbearing? Shunguling is in Qingyun after all. Boom. Puff. Before Xiao Hongyu could finish speaking, he was knocked to the ground by a strong force, his muscles and veins were damaged, and he spit out a mouthful of blood. A cold voice sounded, HMPH. Law enforcers in Kyushu do their work and do not allow outsiders to question it. Xiao Qingfeng stepped forward to help Xiao Hongyu up and fed Xiao Hongyu a pill. Xiao Hongyu is the most powerful among this group of people and must not fall. After Xiao Qingfeng fed Xiao Hongyu the elixir, a peeping consciousness appeared on his body. This divine consciousness made Xiao Qingfeng feel like a light on his back, but he had no ability to avoid the prying eyes of this divine consciousness. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 156 Array of Lords. Soon, the peeping consciousness disappeared, and the cold voice sounded again, 7th grade Stride Restoration Pill. There is actually a 7th grade alchemy master in the little Qingyun Prefecture. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. Another majestic voice sounded, Yunhai, don't talk nonsense with these people. If they are unwilling to leave, we will kill them without mercy. It's the Reverend. Yunhai responded respectfully. Immediately, a murderous intent swept across the sky, and Yunhai's voice was bone-chilling, get out or die. Everyone in Qingyun Prefecture was shocked and their faces were pale. Bailey Xuanqing held the array plate in his hand, and his whole body was full of alertness. Only Mo Jinggong's brows were filled with color, his eyes were like stars, and an invisible aura spread out, relieving the pressure on Bailey Wenyu and Ning Xiyu. Click. The sound of broken bones sounded. Boom. An elder of the Fire Cloud sect had his eyes cracked and his head was weak and boneless. He fell straight down and didn't even have time to scream. Yunhai said from the distance, when I give you 10 breaths, leave here, otherwise you will end up like this person. 1. 2. Ellipsis. Every time Yunhai counted, the faces of everyone in Qingyun Prefecture became uglier. When Yunhai counted to 7, Mo Jinggong and Bailey Wenyu looked at each other. Mo Jinggong nodded. Bailey Wenyu held the talisman in one hand and used his spiritual power with the other hand to throw out a 5th level talisman first. Boom. A shocking explosion made everyone stunned. Who is like this? Yunhai said angrily before he could finish his words. Rumble. Boom. Snapped. Explosions sounded one after another, and the scene was chaotic and dusty. Mo Jing nodded towards a certain position with his jade-like eyes. Suddenly, a pressure that destroyed the heaven and earth came. Plop. Countless black clothes fell from the air and fell in front of everyone in Qingyun Prefecture. Everyone looked at the man in black with bleeding from his orifices in front of them, and fear surged in their hearts. The person hiding in the secret quickly shifted his attention and shouted loudly, who is it? How dare you hurt someone from my Bailey family? A faint light flashed in Mo Jinggong's eyes, and he nodded towards Yuan Bao. Yuan Bao pulled out the last root of the Hongmeng tree species with lightning speed. At once, thousands of rays of light are dazzling. An astonishing and majestic vitality spread, and everyone was shocked. They felt inexplicably enlightened and their state of mind was loosened. Mo Jinggong flipped his wrist and flicked the ingot and Hongmeng tree species from his sleeves into the space. The mysterious aura disappeared instantly. It seems that everything just happened was everyone's illusion. But everyone knew very well that it was not their illusion. You can't hide that feeling of wanting to advance. Everyone stared at Mo Jinggong with greedy eyes. The breath just now came from behind him. Yunhai appeared, exuding a strong majesty, and said in a cold voice, what did you get just now? Hand it over. Bailey Wenyu took a look at the battle, picked up the last 5th level talisman, and threw it towards the sea of clouds. Yunhai's cold eyes flashed with contempt, he raised his hand to use his spiritual power, and easily grabbed the 5th level talisman. Young Hai looked at the blue lines on the talisman, with a surprised look on his face. Level talisman. The little Qingyun prefecture is really a hidden dragon and a crouching tiger. Bailey Wenyu raised his eyebrows and murmured, bang. Boom. The 5th level talisman exploded in Yun Hai's hand. Hiss. Yun Hai gasped in pain, looking at the hand that was blown beyond recognition. Anger flashed in his eyes. He was actually injured by the 5th level talisman. You deserve to die. Yun Hai's eyes showed murderous intent, and he cut a sharp blade towards Bailey Wenyu. Sudden. A burst of red light flashed before Yun Hai's eyes, and the sharp blade bounced back. Yun Hai dodged and the sharp blade passed between his forehead. It's interesting to cross the next level to challenge. A melancholy voice sounded in the air. The indistinguishable male and female voice made everyone tremble and their faces turn red. Yun Hai said bitterly, boss, you won't avenge me. Mian said helplessly, I can't help you. The formation at the feet of this young master is the Lord's formation. Anyone who enters the formation will not be his opponent. Isn't the Lord's formation lost a long time ago? Someone said in surprise. Yun Hai didn't believe it. How can a god incarnation perform an immortal level formation? Xiao Hongyu and others were even more shocked that Qingyun Prefecture actually had such a powerful formation master. Yun Hai's words received no response. Yun Hai looked at the unparalleled Mo Jinggong and narrowed his eyes. For such a young formation master, if the boss didn't come forward to recruit him, he must be giving him a chance to show off. Yun Hai coughed and looked a little kinder. Sir, what you got is what our Bailey family is interested in. I hope you can hand it over voluntarily, and we can consider sparing your life. In addition, I can also make the decision and give you a place to enter the mysterious realm of Kyushu. What do you think? Yun Hai thought that his attitude was very good, but he didn't know that he was more like provocation at this moment. Mo Jinggong's dark eyes were like stars, extremely brilliant, and his deep voice was like jade. Let everyone go. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 157 Cute and Cute Iron-Eating Beast. Yun Hai said coldly, I can make the decision and let you and the 2 people behind you go. We must take away the others and deal with them. As soon as Yun Hai finished speaking, Mo Jinggong didn't have time to reply. An old man over 50 years old said anxiously, Sir, we in Qingyun Prefecture are a whole. You can't abandon us for your own selfishness. Since they want to kill people and silence them, how can they let you alone? Bailey Xuanqing reminded coldly. Xiao Qingfeng said, the benefits they promised are just a temporary measure. When you get out of the Lord formation, they will definitely not let you go, yours. Xiao Hongyu's facial features were majestic. Young master, we are born in Qingyun province, we should share the same hatred. Everyone put hats on Mo Jinggong's head. Ning Shi, you couldn't stand it anymore. Something happened. You know that Qingyun state is a whole. When you wanted to kill us just now, were you ever soft-hearted? The faces of everyone in Qingyun Prefecture were ugly. Yi Wenshan's apprentice was too rude to hold a big position. It's okay if you want me to save you, but you need to agree to a condition. Mo Jinggong's eyes were slightly cold, and his gaze fell on Xiao Qingfeng. At the same time. Whoa. Fang Qingran emerged from the cold pool. Woman, hurry up, Yuan Bao is waiting for you. Fang Xi urged. Don't worry, the 7th brother is there, Yuan Bao will not be in danger. Fang Qingran's beautiful eyes sparkled, crystal clear. He is just a transformed god. There are a lot of false gods out there. Do you expect him? Fang Xi was speechless. Everyone in Lingyun sect seemed to have a terrifying level of trust in Mo Jinggong. If the people of the Mother Clan had such trust in it back then, maybe the Mother Clan could have escaped from that disaster. Fang Qingran's red lips curled up slightly. Fang Xi, sooner or later you will understand the origin of this trust. Ah, sneeze. Fang Qingran couldn't help it and sneezed several times in succession. The water in the cold pool was so cold that it made her tremble all over. But it was pitch black before her eyes, and she didn't know which direction to swim. And like a black hole, it absorbs light. Woman, there must be a trap here. As long as you find the trap, you can get out. Fang Xi felt a little guilty as he felt Fang Qingran's emotions. It didn't expect that the outlet of its induction was like this. It didn't even dare to tell Fang Qingran that the way back had been destroyed. Fang Qingran grinded his teeth and said in a cold tone, Fang Xi, you'd better pray, you are a hairless beast, otherwise I will definitely let you know what is insidious in the world. Fang Xi was so frightened that the eggshell shook, and it decided not to come out of its shell. Fang Qingran had no choice but to take out the acupoint tracing plate given by Senior Yinglong from the space, and closed his eyes to feel the mechanism. Soon, Fang Qingran put away the acupoint tracing plate and swam to the left, feeling back and forth on the cold stone wall. Finally, Fang Qingran touched a bump. Click. There was a crisp sound, and a stone door opened not far away from Fang Qingran. I can see the bright world outside. But there is still no light inside. Fang Qingran swam ashore and walked out of the cold pool. The stone door behind her closed. The place she was in was a cave. Ka ka ka. A strange chewing sound came from the right. Fang Qingran turned around and saw a black and white bear. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes widened and shone with light. This was so cute. FCK. You, woman, you are absolutely unlucky today. Fang Xi's exclamation echoed in Fang Qingran's sea of consciousness. Fang Xi, I want to make a contract with it. Fang Qingran's eyes were filled with excitement. Finally found a beast with closed eyes. Except for Shen Wang, whom she doesn't understand, all her contracted beasts are fake. You made a contract with it. Are you dreaming? Do you know what it is called? Fang Xi's tone was slightly sour. A woman who has changed her mind after seeing strange things. 3 contract beasts are not enough. There is another one. Can she handle it? But what surprised Fang Xi even more was that there was an iron-eating beast in this small world. Who cares, as long as it's cute. Fang Qingran's almond-shaped eyes were bright. She walked forward slowly, looked at the iron-eating beast, and asked cautiously, "Do you like eating bamboo very much?" Iron-eating beast. This person seems a bit stupid. Isn't it chewing bamboo? It's a pity that in today's weather, the bamboos are old, a bit rusty, and not very tasty. I have a lot of fresh bamboo there. Do you want to come back with me? Fang Qingran coaxed. The iron-eating beast said nothing and took another bite of bamboo. Click. Fang Qingran's heart almost melted as she looked at the cute iron-eating beast. No. We must take this little guy back. Fang Qingran took out a large pile of spiritual food from the space and placed it in front of the iron-eating beast. The iron-eating beast paused while chewing the bamboo. Round eyes stared at Fang Qingran. He seemed to be a pretty good person, and these things smelled good. Eat quickly, Fang Qingran said in high spirits. Whoever eats her spiritual food becomes her beast. The iron-eating beast tried to pick up a bunch of candied haws and put it in his mouth. The sweet taste spread immediately. Too delicious. After eating one, the iron-eating beast grabbed another vegetarian food, holding it in its claws with some hesitation. It couldn't eat her food in vain. The iron-eating beast put the snacks back on the table and climbed out of the hole. Ha ha ha, it ran away, why don't you chase it? Fang Si gloated. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 158 Contracted Iron-Eating Beast. Fang Qingran's almond-shaped eyes narrowed slightly. Fang Si, do you believe it? I will crack your eggshells into pieces, then make a bowl of egg drop soup. There is absolutely nothing you can do to break my eggshell. Stop scaring me here, Fang Si said nonchalantly. Really? Fang Qingran had an axe in his hand. I wonder if this axe can chop your eggshells. Fuck, sky-splitting axe, where did you come from? Fang Si was shocked and began to tremble. If it was something else, it wouldn't have to worry about its shell being broken. But the sky-splitting axe is different. The sky-splitting axe can even split the heaven and the earth. Its eggshell must not be able to withstand it. That master, I was wrong. I really didn't mean to ridicule you. I just sighed that you actually encountered an iron-eating beast. Fang Si's tone was full of flattery. Fang Qingran's eyes flashed. Iron-eating beast. Are you sure it's an iron-eating beast? Iron-eating beasts have been rare since ancient times. Even in ancient times, when alien beasts were flying everywhere, the iron-eating beast was definitely at the top of the alien beasts. If you could only choose one exotic beast to make a contract with, the iron-eating beast would be the first choice for those ancient powers. Because the iron-eating beast is not only easy to feed, but also has strong fighting power. Unfortunately, the number of iron-eating beasts is too small. Fang Qingran didn't expect that she would encounter a rare iron-eating beast. Fang Si replied affirmatively. I am very sure that it is an iron-eating beast. In ancient times, once an iron-eating beast appeared, it would definitely cause a bloody storm. There are rumors that the iron-eating beast contains an extremely rare bloodline power. The power in this bloodline even far exceeds the power of chaos. Of course these are all rumors, but the iron-eating beast has another name, the lucky beast. Anyone who gets an iron-eating beast will have an increase in luck. Master is so lucky to meet the iron-eating beast before the spread comes out of its shell. There is no need for the lucky stone now. After Fang Si finished speaking, he saw Fang Qingran put away the sky-splitting axe and breathed a sigh of relief. Iron-eating beast, such an unlovable name does not suit it at all. The smile on Fang Qingran's face became even brighter. It's more cost-effective to raise an iron-eating beast than to raise a beast with 3 eggs that don't know when they will hatch. Moreover, the iron-eating beast is a vegetarian, so it costs nothing to raise. A contracted beast that eats less and has strong combat power is what she wants most. Woman, do you really want to make a contract with it? You have to think clearly. When the iron-eating beast gets angry, it doesn't matter whether you are its owner or not, it can beat you to a pulp with just one slap. Fang Si reminded. Fang Si didn't want Fang Qingran to contract the iron-eating beast at all. After all, the iron-eating beast could break its shell with just one claw. It's so cute, why should I make it angry? Fang Qingran was just thinking about how to get that little guy. At this time, the iron-eating beast crawled in from outside the cave, sat opposite Fang Qingran, stretched out its lovely paws, and had several spiritual plants lying on them. The iron-eating beast handed the spiritual plant to Fang Qingran and motioned for Fang Qingran to accept it. Fang Qingran took the spiritual plant and did not recognize the others. He only recognized one of them as dragon scale grass. Dragon scale grass can be used to refine yuan-yang pill. Dragon scale grass is extremely rare in the entire world of immortality. When the iron-eating beast saw that Fang Qingran had accepted the spiritual plant, he picked up the spiritual food and began to eat it. Fang Qingran put away the spiritual plant and held her chin with her hands, her beautiful eyes as bright as the moon. Well, why don't you go back with me and take care of all these things from now on? The iron-eating beast tilted its head, thinking, if he doesn't follow her back, he can't continue eating. The iron-eating beast looked at the pile of spiritual food in front of him, finally nodded, and then offered a drop of blood essence and sent it to Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran's glazed apricot eyes widened with joy. It actually asked for a contract. In fact, her original intention was to trick the little guy back into Lingyun's sect first, and then find a way to make a contract. Fang Qingran no longer hesitated and immediately activated the contract formation and completed the contract with the iron-eating beast. After the contract was completed, Fang Qingran took out a bunch of snacks and gave them to the iron-eating beast, letting it eat to its heart's content. What's your name? Fang Qingran asked. It seems that the iron-eating beast has not yet reached the stage of speaking human language. The iron-eating beast shook its head, indicating that it had no name. Then how about I call you Fang Yu from now on? Fang Qingran asked. The iron-eating beast nodded while eating. Ha, you only think about it, but you don't think that Yuan Bao is still waiting for you. Fang Si said sourly. Fang Qingran stood up and said, of course I remember Yuan Bao. Have you eaten enough? Fang Yu nodded blankly. The owner seemed to be in a hurry, so he should be more obedient and sensible. Fang Qingran held Fang Yuyu in her arms and gave it a bunch of spiritual food. Eat slowly, don't worry. Shungaling hinterland. Everyone in Qingyun Prefecture clapped their hands. Master, do you think this is okay? Xiao Qingfeng was lying on the ground with a bruised nose and face, looking at Mo Jinggong and said angrily, how did I offend you? Why did you do this to me? Mo Jing's phoenix eyes flashed with sarcasm. I just want to tell you that using power to oppress others will eventually lead to backlash. Xiao Qingfeng looked slightly stunned. Could Mo Jinggong be venting his anger on Fang Qingran's behalf? Does Mo Jinggong know that Fang Qingran was killed by Bailey Qingshuan? Master, do you want to save them again? Yun Hai said coldly. Yes. Mo Jinggong's voice was low and his eyes were like jade. Yun Hai sneered, with a touch of sarcasm on his face. Young master, don't you think that the formation of lords can trap a virtual god? Mo Jing's eyes were as bright as stars. He raised his hand, flicked his sleeves and threw out a formation disc. The array disc landed on the black hole, emitting a dazzling red light. In an instant, a pillar of red light shot straight into the sky from several pits around the black hole, and the aura was as majestic as the sea. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 159 Like an ancient god. Suddenly, a powerful and suffocating force enveloped everyone present. The powerful men hidden in the air also appeared, all with horrified expressions. Mo Jinggong flicked his slender jade hand, holding a talisman pen in his hand. The strokes of the brush passed through the air, like a swimming dragon, and then golden runes suddenly appeared and fell to the light pillar. At this moment, Mo Jinggong was like an ancient god, inviolable and inviolable, which was awe-inspiring. The picture reflected in the minds of the powerful men, causing an inexplicable fear to rise in their hearts. Is his cultivation really only limited to becoming a god? Yun Hai broke out in a cold sweat and his legs were shaking. If he had only a little self-esteem to hold on, he would have knelt down long ago. Yun Hai turned to look at the boss, and found that the boss's eyes were also filled with horror, and his old and rickety body was even lower. It's not just him, everyone is like this. Plop. The sound of kneeling down one after another interrupted Yun Hai's meditation. He glanced at the people kneeling down, all of them were strong men with spiritual cultivation. The powerful people present were silent and showed respect to Mo Jinggong. Today's scene in Yun Hai will be something he will never forget in his life. The stunningly beautiful young master used his body as a god to suppress many false gods. Kyushu continent is finally going to change. After a quarter of an hour, everyone felt relaxed, and the frightening pressure disappeared. The red light pillar disappeared and turned into red lines, spreading from the center of Mo Jinggong to form a complex pattern. The pattern is like a delicate and beautiful flower from the other side. Mo Jinggong exuded majestic power, but everyone suddenly felt that all the pressure on him disappeared. Sir, do you want to trap us all here? A loud voice sounded. Mo Jinggong raised his eyes and met a pair of purple eyes. Mo Jinggong felt a sense of clarity in his heart. It was indeed because of Bailey Yuanmo that people from the Bailey family could come here quickly. Every state has the power of the Bailey family. Ever since the teleportation array between Kyushu was controlled by the Bailey family. On the surface, the Bailey family stated that each state can develop freely, but secretly they would send direct descendants to establish forces in each state, so as to understand the news of each state and control the development rhythm of this state. The Bailey family will never allow the emergence of supreme treasures and top talents in any state. Whenever a heaven-defying treasure appears, the Bailey family will definitely send someone to intervene. In addition, once a cultivation genius appears, the Bailey family will try the best to recruit the genius. The Sprite fighting competition is a competition set up by the Bailey family to attract the Emperor's darlings to participate. Basically, no one who has participated in the Sprite fighting competition is willing to return to the state. Those who are unwilling to return to the state have one thing in common, that is, they have all entered the mysterious realm. That's why Genius Yi Wen suspected that there was something wrong with the Yukshuan secret realm. I want the Bailey family to give up control of Qingyun Prefecture. Mo Jinggong's figure was like jade, and his whole body exuded nobility. Young master, what you said is very funny. Qingyun state has always been independent. Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes were deep, Yi Wenshan and his disciples were not simple. Mo Jinggong said in a deep voice, the independence I want is for the Bailey family to withdraw from Qingyun Prefecture and not to interfere with the freedom of the monks in Qingyun Prefecture. I don't quite understand what the young master said. Every state has a governor, and all development plans are formulated by the governor. What does it have to do with the Bailey family? Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes flashed coldly. Back then, people from the Bailey family offered very generous terms to recruit Yi Wenshan, but Yi Wenshan rejected them. After that, the Bailey family came up with various methods, but none of them made Yi Wenshan join the Bailey family. Later, the Bailey family sent him to Qingyun Prefecture to find a way to investigate everything about Yi Wenshan. But Yi Wenshan was as slippery as a loach and couldn't find anything at all. It wasn't until Bailey Wenyu was picked up by Yi Wenshan and returned to Lingyun sect that he traced Yi Wenshan's whereabouts. Later, he wanted to learn about Yi Wenshan through Bailey Wenyu, but Bailey Wenyu kept silent about Lingyun sect in front of him. Mo Jinggong's eyes were cold. Qingyun Prefecture's Shumo Pavilion, Kungchun Pavilion, Fuyu Spirit Artifact Pavilion, as well as the Sheng family, Chen family, Hu family. I don't need to continue talking about the rest, Mr. Bailey, it's all clear. Mo Jinggong's words made everyone in Qingyun Prefecture look at each other in shock. Shumo Pavilion, Kungchun Pavilion, and Fuyu Lingqi Pavilion are the three largest forces in Qingyun State. Whether it is elixirs, magic weapons, or spiritual plants, they are all controlled by these three forces. It can be said that everything that is extremely important to monks comes from the hands of these three major forces. Even though Qinghe Tower and Tongwen Pavilion have suddenly emerged in recent years, they still have less foundation than the other three major forces. The head of the Sheng family was confused. Young master, please don't talk nonsense. The Sheng family has never known anyone from the Bailey family. The head of the Chen family also stood up. Sir, our Chen family cannot afford to take the blame. We did not collude with other states. Xiao Hongyu said with a stern face, Sir, we are very grateful to you for saving everyone, but with just a few words, you put the two families in the position of traitors. Do you know the consequences? Mo Jinggong chuckled, and in an instant the world seemed to lose its color. Mo Jinggong's handsome eyes flashed. After the ancestors of other families leave office, they will remain in seclusion, but only the ancestors of the Sheng family and the Chen family will show up once the family makes a major decision, right? Quote. The head of the Sheng family and the head of the Chen family looked at each other. Why did Mo Jinggong know so clearly? Mo Jinggong continued, also, Shumo Pavilion always uses the name of auction to control the prices of various items in Qingyun Prefecture. Fuyu Spirit Artifact Pavilion and Kungshuan Pavilion seem to be in opposition, but it is just to confuse everyone. Every time Mo Jinggong said something, Bailey Yuanmo's face under the mask became uglier. Young master, you are talking empty words with no evidence. How do we know that what you say is true? Yun Hai's eyes were cold and murderous. Master Bailey knows whether it is true or not. Mo Jinggong's aura became even stronger. Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes flashed with a ghostly luster. What Mr. Mo said is really wonderful, but I'm a little confused. These people have never expressed gratitude to you from the beginning to the end, so why do you insist on protecting them? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 160, he has never seen the world. Mo Jinggong's eyes were stern. I can't give anyone shelter. I just try my best to fight for the rights I deserve. Ha ha ha. Bailey Yuanmo laughed loudly. Bailey Wenyu stood behind Mo Jinggong and remained silent. He knew he couldn't stand up at this point. He is a disciple of the Lingyun sect, but his surname is Bailey. Even though he has already broken up with the Bailey family, he cannot change the fact that his surname is Bailey. Ning Xiu glanced at Bailey Wenyu a few times, and saw that he also looked worried, and she felt relieved. Fortunately, the sixth junior brother had nothing to do with the Bailey family. If Bailey Wenyu had something to do with Bailey's family, she really didn't know how to face him. Others in Qingyun Prefecture looked at Bailey Xuanqing several times. Bailey Xuanqing looked gloomy and explained aloud, I have nothing to do with the Bailey family. HMPH, Bailey Xuanqing, do you dare to swear? Xiao Qingfeng shouted, almost pulling the wound on his face. I have a clear conscience. Bailey Xuanqing's voice was crisp. You really have nothing to do with the Bailey family. Then why did you set up a killing array for us? Xiao Qingfeng asked. Bailey Xuanqing's face was dark. He set up a killing array, of course, in order to kill the distance after getting the alien beast. Okay, Secmaster Xiao, since Secmaster Bailey said no, you should stop saying it. Xiao Hongyu came to Bailey Xuanqing's rescue. Now that Qingyun Prefecture is weak, if there is internal strife at this time, wouldn't it be a joke to others? Young Hai heard what the three said and mocked. Do you really think that any cat or dog can enter our Bailey family? We, the Bailey family, will not look down on a person who is more than years old and has only advanced to the late stage of false god. Bailey Xuanqing's eyes were lowered, a flash of dark light flashed, and he remained silent. After being promoted to the virtual god, one can live up to 10,000 years. What you say is nice. How did you advance to the late stage of virtual god? Xiao Qingfeng said unconvinced. He felt that Yun Hai was insulting him. He is now more than years old and is still in the middle stage of false god. Generally speaking, anyone who has cultivated into the virtual god can be said to have a great opportunity. When I am 3,000 years old, I will advance to the late stage of false god. Yun Hai's tone was full of pride. A group of short-sighted guys really think that it is amazing to be able to cultivate to the virtual god 5,000 years ago. What? How is this possible? Xiao Qingfeng was so shocked that he almost lost his voice. All monks know that the more you practice, the more difficult it becomes. Before the golden elixir, if resources were sufficient, as long as you practiced hard, you could advance to the first level in at most 10 years. But after advancing to Jindan, you need to rely on personal talent. If you have good talent and practice hard, you will definitely be promoted once in 100 years. Of course, after being promoted to nascent soul, it is useless to just practice hard. At this time, in addition to hard training, you also need to look for opportunities and blessings of luck. The lucky ones will have the opportunity to advance to become gods. The difficulty of promotion after becoming a god can be said to be extremely difficult. If you can advance to the virtual god before your 5,000 years of life is exhausted, you will be lucky. But Yun Hai was already in the late stage of false god when he was 3,000 years old. How could this be possible? Yun Hai glanced at the faces of everyone present. Except for the masked man in black, everyone else stared at him with wide eyes. Look at you, you look like you have never seen the world. What's so surprising? I've seen Cheetos advance before. Okay, Yun Hai, this fast should be over. Let's work together to break this formation of lords. Don't forget there are important things. An old voice interrupted Yun Hai. The old man in black kept looking at Mo Jinggong. I found that no matter what they said, Mo Jinggong's expression remained normal, as if the things they mentioned were ordinary. This kind of person has a tough mind and can only be eliminated but not recruited. The old man in black is actually more curious. What was the peerless treasure before? Whose hands did it fall into? Yun Hai said respectfully to the old man in black, I obey, it's just that I'm old, so many of us have died, can we just let it go? The death has nothing to do with them. It should be the strong man in the dark who did it. The old man waved his hand. The old man is not sure, what is the cultivation level of the person hiding in the dark? But the heaven-destroying aura that erupted in that moment cannot be faked. This terrifying power definitely did not come from the people in the formation. But except for Yi Wenshan, no one in Juzhou continent was stronger than him. There is no strong person in the combined stage. And after that person exuded coercion, he disappeared again. Why? Everyone in Qingyun Prefecture looked surprised when they heard the old man's words. The death of dozens of virtual gods seemed to be nothing in the eyes of this old man. Those are dozens of virtual gods. There are only a dozen virtual gods in Qingyun Prefecture. But in the eyes of the Bailey family, the death of dozens of virtual gods seems to be a common thing. Yunhai raised his hand to summon the black clothes and directed them to destroy the formation. Seventh junior brother, what should I do? Ning Shiyu asked nervously. Don't worry, Mo Jinggong said solemnly. He would never do anything unprepared, and he would never break up with the Bailey family without a foolproof plan. Yunhai's eyes fell on Mo Jinggong. Young master is really confident. This formation of lords is indeed very powerful, but your enemy is the Bailey family, and the Bailey family will not be threatened by others. As long as the 18 formation eyes are destroyed in the lord's formation, the formation will be broken naturally. Am I right? Yunhai's eyes were filled with contempt. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 161 Yuanyang Pill. Then you should also know that those who destroy the formation will definitely die, right? Sacrifice 18 virtual gods to break the formation. The Bailey family is generous. Mo Jinggong's phoenix eyes were deep and glowing with a cold light. What? Sacrificing 18 virtual gods just to break the formation? The head of the Zhu family was shocked, and his voice contained some unknown emotion. The head of the Chen family couldn't bear it and said in surprise, the Bailey family would rather sacrifice 18 people to break the formation than negotiate terms properly. Is what Mr. Mo said true? No wonder the Bailey family can control Kyushu. This kind of strength is beyond our reach. Master Sheng, whose side are you on? Don't forget, you just stated that you are from Qingyun State. Xiao Qingfeng asked. An old man over 50 years old said, after they break the formation, we will definitely die. No. We must stop them. As soon as the old man's words came out, everyone in Qingyun State fell silent. There are 18 virtual gods, and there are less than 10 virtual gods present. How can you fight them? Moreover, the difference between virtual gods is only one level, which is like a chasm and cannot be crossed. Chang Lao alone can kill them all. Who dares to step forward to stop them from breaking the formation? They turned their attention to Mo Jinggong again, hoping that he could stop the Bailey family. Yunhai heard everyone's voices and a plan came to his mind. Yunhai looked at everyone in Qingyun Prefecture. Actually, if you are so anxious, you can beg Mr. Mo. As long as he takes the initiative to cancel the formation, I might consider letting you all go. Can you make the decision on this matter? Xiao Hongyu asked seriously. Yunhai was very interested. Of course I can make the decision. If you can still ask Mr. Mo to hand over what you just got, I might be able to give you a few Yuanyang pills. Yuanyang pill. At this time, everyone in Qingyun Prefecture could not sit still. One Yuanyang pill is equivalent to being able to create a powerful virtual god, and its value can be imagined. A monk at the peak of becoming a god can immediately advance to the level of virtual god after taking the Yuanyang pill, and it can also remove all the erysipelas from the body. Yuanyang pill has the function of marrow cleansing pill and is more precious than marrow cleansing pill. The marrow cleansing pill is only useful for monks with foundation establishment and below levels, but the Yuanyang pill is different. It can cleanse the essence and cut the marrow no matter what level of cultivation is taken. This is the Yuanyang pill. As long as you do as I say, the Yuanyang pill will be yours. Yunhai took out a porcelain bottle and uncorked it. Instantly, a medicinal fragrance overflowed and spread. Some people smelled the smell of Yuanyang pill and looked greedy. There were also people with tangled expressions on their faces, their eyes flickering, and their eyes darting back and forth between Yuanyangdan and Mo Jinggong. Someone looked at Xiao Hongyu and said that those who are at the peak of Yuanyangdan's transformation into gods can advance to the virtual god level if they take it. If a person who is a virtual god obeys it, his spiritual consciousness can be enhanced, his cave can be expanded, and if he is lucky, he can be promoted to a higher level. Therefore, even if Xiao Hongyu is a virtual god, he still cannot resist the temptation of Yuanyang pill. There was a hint of confusion in Xiao Hongyu's majestic eyes. He knew that Yunhai was doing it on purpose and deliberately took out the Yuanyang pill to seduce them. But Xiao Hongyu really wanted to get a Yuanyang pill. He has been stuck in the late stage of false god for these years and cannot advance to the next level. If he could get the Yuanyang pill and wash away the remaining erysipelas in his body, he might be able to advance to the late stage of virtual god. If young Master Mo disbands the Lord formation, can you really make the decision to let all of us go? Xiao Hongyu said in a serious tone. Old man, what do you think? Yunhai asked with a smile. The old, deeply sunken eyes were slightly turbid, but also revealed a sharpness. As long as this young master can take the initiative to unlock the Lord's formation, I will let you go, as Yunhai said. Mr. Mo, since they have agreed to let us go, see if you can. Xiao Hongyu said half of the sentence, hoping that Mo Jinggong would take it on his own. Ning Shiyu was the first to stand up. You are all so shameless. My junior brother was helping you, but you actually turned against me. Also, they said they would let you go, but they didn't say how they would let you go. If they destroy all of you and then let you go, that would be a let-off. Ning's poems sound like silver bells, the beautiful music lingers, the face is as beautiful as the morning, and the whole body is full of agility. Yunhai looked at Ning Shiyu with a pair of cold eyes, and there was more appreciation in his eyes. Unexpectedly, there was someone who was not confused. Bailey Wen stepped forward to block Yunhai's gaze, but then he felt that his actions were too deliberate, so he said to everyone, think carefully, who is more trustworthy between these people and the 7th junior brother? At least the 7th junior brother has never they want to kill you, but what about them? HMPH, your 7th junior brother still lets people beat me. Xiao Qingfeng's eyes were filled with resentment, he also wanted the Yuanyang pill. Mo Jingong now has everyone's greed for Yuan Yang pill, and decided to throw out a piece of news. 3,000 years ago, the Tianjin sect's library suddenly suffered a fire, resulting in the loss of hundreds of heaven-level exercises. In the same year, the Huan sect's library was also stolen, and tens of thousands of precious elixir recipes were lost, followed by the theft of the beast-controlling sects and Xuanyan sect's libraries. The four major sects were furious. Afterwards, they joined forces with various forces to investigate, but found nothing. Later, the sects gradually declined due to the loss of their skills. Qingyun Prefecture's ranking among Kyushu has dropped from the initial 3rd place to 6th place. Are what I said correct? What Mo Jingong was talking about happened in the past few thousand years. But the people present were all people who had lived for thousands of years. No matter how well each sect concealed these things back then, everyone still knew a little bit about it. How do you know so clearly? Xiao Hongyu's eyes were stern. Even Yu Wenshan didn't know these things. How could Mo Jingong know? At this time, a clear and pleasant voice came from the air. As soon as I heard what you said, I knew that you didn't read the news on Juzhu News. It has announced the truth about the theft of each sect's library and cited a lot of evidence. Little junior sister, you finally showed up, Ning Shiyu said in surprise. Mo Jingong's phoenix eyes narrowed slightly, a faint light flashed, and they fell to one place, looking at each other across the distance from Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran's figure, who was about to descend with her sword, paused slightly. Something was wrong in the eyes of the 7th senior brother. Should she go down? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 162. The old consciousness spread, looking for traces of Fang Qingran. Could this person be the strong man in the dark? After Bailey Yuanmo heard the voice, his eyes shone with charm. After the auction ended, he originally wanted to send someone to follow Fang Qingran, but unexpectedly Fang Qingran disappeared from the house. Yi Wenshan's disciples are indeed not ordinary people. Everyone in Qingyun Prefecture looked surprised. Fang Qingran was still alive. They had been at the entrance of the black hole and did not see Fang Qingran come out. How did she escape? Could it be that she got the inheritance from the Mahayana immortal? Found another exit. Yunhai glanced across the faces of everyone and shouted in the air, who is it? Come out quickly. Fang Qingran said crisply, I am just a passerby. You don't need to pay attention to me. You should take out the sound transmission card and take a look. Except for Mo Jingong, everyone in Qingyun Prefecture took out their sound transmission cards. But a group of men in black looked at each other in confusion and looked at Bailey Yuanmo who had taken out the sound transmission card. Are they ignorant? What is Kyushu experience? Also, don't they always use telephony? What? There is such a thing. This Bailey family has gone too far. The head of the Sheng family roared angrily. And you see, it says here that what happened to Lady Miaoyan back then was caused by the Bailey family. The Bailey family deliberately used Lady Miaoyan's matter as an excuse to take control of the teleportation array between states. It turns out that the ranking of each state is under the control of the Bailey family, as well as the strength of each sect in each state. If it is too strong, the Bailey family will take action. Damn it. It also said that the Bailey family will poach outstanding juniors from each state to prevent the state from becoming too strong. Those who cannot be poached will even be secretly dealt with. Everything here is reasonable and well-founded. It doesn't feel like fraud. This Bailey family is too scary. Ellipsis. A group of black-clothed people listened quietly, and the powerful men in Qingyun Prefecture complained about the Bailey family with indignation. They really want to snatch the tokens from Zhu Qiang's hands and see what Juzhu News says. But this is a bit embarrassing. The man in black could only turn his head and look at Bailey Yuanmo with burning eyes, waiting for him to answer the doubts. Yunhai came directly to Bailey Yuanmo and said to please, boss, can you let me take a look too? Let's see. Bailey Yuanmo handed the transmission order to Yunhai and wanted to raise his hand to rub his eyebrows, but he only touched the mask. Bailey Yuanmo regretted it very much. When Qinghe Tower sold sound transmission cards, he didn't pay much attention to them. Later, there was an additional information about Kyushu's information on the sound transmission card. At first, it only said the real information about Qingyun Prefecture. He thought that as long as he controlled Qinghe Tower, it would be equivalent to controlling the source of information in Qingyun Prefecture. So he used Shumo Pavilion to support Qinghe Tower, prompting Qinghe Tower to develop rapidly, and its momentum almost overwhelmed Fuyu Lingqi Pavilion. But who would have thought that by the time he realized it, Qinghe Tower would be able to develop independently from Shumo Pavilion? Bailey Yuanmo really didn't expect that he would be the one being used. If Qinghe Tower doesn't think of a way to get rid of it, I'm afraid Qingyun Prefecture will really break away and the Bailey family will take control. Bailey Yuanmo knew clearly that the Bailey family was a giant crocodile, capable of crushing all the forces in Kyushu. But what the Bailey family wants to do is to control the situation behind the scenes instead of being brought to the surface. Once something is revealed, it will arouse the rebellious psychology of countless people. By then, the Bailey family will definitely become the target of public criticism. At that time, it will not be so easy for the Bailey family to control everything. While Bailey Yuan was thinking silently, Yunhai also finished browsing the things on Kyushu News. Yunhai said in surprise, boss, how could this happen? Who sent the news above? The reason why Yunhai was so shocked was that except for him and Bailey Yuanmo, no one who participated in the library pavilion was alive. Bailey Yuanmo is a direct descendant of the Bailey family. He has been taught since he was a child that the interests of the Bailey family are above all else. It is impossible for Bailey Yuanmo to betray the Bailey family. And it is even less possible for him to tell these things to others. He has a loyalty goo in his body. Once he is unfaithful to the Bailey family, he will bleed to death. This Kyushu experience explains the matter of the library pavilion in great detail, as if this person was involved in the events of that year. Some photos were even released, proving that the lost skills went to Bailey's house. There are many swordsmen in the Bailey family, and they practice the skills that were stolen from the Tianjin sect back then. The person who dares to send out these messages must be the owner of King He Tower. Bailey Yuanmo's tone was cold, and his purple pupils swept across everyone present. Yun Hai was even more shocked. Boss, is the owner of King He Tower a traitor to the Bailey family? Otherwise, how could he know so much? Yun Hai said and handed the token to Kang Lao, who took it. The first thing I saw was exciting. I really didn't expect Shumog to be the lackey of the Bailey family. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Missed this news. You will regret it. A bizarre case from thousands of years ago was exposed today. Close black lens bracket. Is this the purpose of the Bailey family? Let all the monks in the world become the puppets of his family. Do you want to know why your state keeps ranking at the bottom? There must be the answer you want here. Close black lens bracket. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 163 Victim Guilty Theory. The old man stared at what he saw, his cloudy eyes glazed over for a moment. Is he too old to keep up with the rhythm? Do you need to use such words and phrases when announcing something now? The old man couldn't help his curiosity. He clicked on each title and read on. The more he read, the more fascinating it became. Kang Lao even somewhat forgot about the environment he was in. Holding the token, he completely immersed himself in it. The old man sighed softly. Hai Yun, the writing in this is really good, and every article is very interesting. This person can be recruited and used by the Bailey family. Yun Hai. Kang Lao, this is an enemy of the Bailey family. It's fine if you don't kill him. Why do you want to recruit him? Once these things fall into the hands of the family owner, they will all suffer. The 18 strong men who were still breaking the formation froze in their movements. Old people, do you not understand the point? Fang Qingran took advantage of everyone's gossip and quietly landed next to Mo Jinggong. Fang Qingran's beautiful eyes were as clear as jade. Seventh senior brother, is the Yuan Bao at your place? It's good that junior sister can still remember these things. Mo Jinggong's voice was cold and his eyes were indifferent. Fang Qingran. There seems to be something wrong with the seventh senior brother. Did someone make him angry? Fang Qingran glanced at Ning Xiyu and Bailey Wenyu quietly and asked with her eyes, what happened to Mo Jinggong? Bailey Wenyu shook his head and pointed at Fang Qingran. Ning Xiyu made many gestures, but Fang Qingran didn't understand any of them. Senior brother 7, please listen to my explanation. I have something important to do. Fang Qingran smiled guiltily, holding her hands behind her back as if she was afraid of being slapped on the palm. It's okay, junior sister, just go do the important things. Just leave the mess to me. Fang Qingran's back stiffened when she heard Mo Jinggong's sarcasm. There was definitely something wrong with the seventh senior brother. He usually spoke very gently, but never like this. Could it be that someone present made the seventh senior brother unhappy? Fang Qingran thought she had guessed everything. She held her pink fist and said, seventh senior brother, who dares to bully you? Tell me quickly. I will go to Kyushu to see the color of his underwear. The breath all over Mo Jinggong's body became even colder. His eyes like Mo looked at Fang Qingran with a smile but not a smile. He raised his hand, bent his index finger, and hit Fang Qingran's forehead directly. Oops. Senior brother 7th, can't you be gentler? It hurts a lot. Fang Qingran covered her forehead, feeling aggrieved. Bailey Wenyu wanted to laugh while listening to the conversation. The conversation between the two was strange. It was the first time for him to see such a down-to-earth side of Mo Jinggong. And the younger sister, I still don't understand why the seventh brother is angry. Ning Xiyu couldn't stand Fang Qingran's continued stupidity, so she leaned into Fang Qingran's ear and whispered a few words. Fang Qingran's clear and bright pupils trembled slightly. Nothing really happened to me. Senior brother 7th, you shouldn't be angry because of this, right? Ning Xiyu lowered her voice. Little junior sister, do you know how dangerous what you did is? If something unexpected happens, we won't even be able to find your ashes. Fang Qingran. Everyone in Qingyun Prefecture looked embarrassed after reading the news on Juzhou News. The powerful forces that had fallen apart before stood together again, and now the temptation of Yuanyang pill was gone. Master Xiao, what do you think? The old man over 50 asked with a trembling voice. Xiao Hongyu's stern eyes showed a look of embarrassment. Speaking at this time was the most responsible thing to bear. He didn't know whether he could bear these burdens. Xiao Qingfeng's eyes were full of gloom. If everything above is true, then everything is too terrible. We have been living under the control of the Bailey family. The head of the Chen family was afraid and said, yes. This also means that no matter how hard we work, we are just making wedding clothes for others. So what is the purpose of practicing hard? Everything I said before Juzhou News is true, and most of these things are also true, but what are the intentions of the people who announced these news? Bailey Xuanqing's voice was cold. People above publish a lot of truths, which is actually not a good thing for most people. Because the things above have broken many people's views. Some people may choose to give up on themselves and stop practicing hard because they accept their incompetence. Xiao Qingfeng narrowed her eyes slightly. Bailey Xuanqing, you're not really an undercover agent of the Bailey family, are you? Xiao Qingfeng, I told you, I'm not. Can you please stop grabbing me? The key now is how to deal with these things. Bailey Xuanqing said slightly angrily. Xiao Qingfeng stared at Bailey Xuanqing. Bailey Xuanqing, if you really weren't from the Bailey family, you wouldn't say that this person has bad intentions. He risked his life to publish this information. He let us know the truth. Isn't it strange that you are not grateful but are still doubting his intentions? Patriarch Chen plucked up the courage and responded to Xiao Qingfeng. What Patriarch Xiao said is very reasonable. This person also pointed out the problems in many of the techniques we practice, and also pointed out the reasons why the spiritual energy in each state is thin. The second elder of Tianjin sect took a deep breath. No wonder every time the disciples enter the secret realm, they can't find any peerless treasures. It turns out that even the secret realm we broke into is fake. So what is real? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 164. My inheritance is all yours. You don't have to be so angry, Yunhai said coldly. What does this fellow toast mean that what is said above is not true? Xiao Hongyu asked seriously. Yunhai folded his arms and mocked. Does it matter whether it is true or false? Do you have the right to resist? Instead of arguing about the Bailey family here, it is better to let Mr. Mo dismantle the Lord formation and let us leave. Yunhai knew that killing people and silencing them now would undoubtedly push the Bailey family to the forefront. Juju News also announced their appearance in Shunghu Ridge. If these people died in Shunghu Ridge, the follow-up would be even more troublesome. A cold light flashed in Xiao Hongyu's eyes. Was Yunhai compromising? Yunhai's attitude proved that everything mentioned above in Juju News was true. If the things on this are false, we will not pursue them. But if everything on this is true, the Bailey family must give us an explanation. Xiao Hongyu is serious and strict. He should not let it go easily at this time. The best time to fight for your rights. HMPH, if you want to benefit, I want to see if you can take your life. Yunhai said and swung his sword towards Xiao Hongyu. Xiao Hongyu was shocked, drew out his sword, and held it in front of him. The people of Bailey family are really confident. However, at this moment, a pair of hands suddenly appeared, clamping the edge of Yunhai's sword, and the sound sounded, Yunhai, don't be reckless, listen to the conditions of Master Xiao first. Bailey Yuan turned his head silently and said to Xiao Hongyu, Seg Master Xiao can also put away his sword. The matter has not yet reached a point where it is non-negotiable. Xiao Hongyu put away the sword in his hand, but became defensive. Do we really have the qualifications to raise conditions? Xiao Qingfeng asked, holding back his breath. At this time, Xiao Qingfeng actually missed Yi Wenchen a little. According to that guy's character, he will do anything if he doesn't accept it. No matter what the conditions are, you will beat the person first to feel satisfied. Of course you can. As long as the conditions you raise are not excessive, I can make the decision. Bailey Yuanmo gave an affirmative answer. Yunhai glanced at it several times, still immersed in what he saw and heard in Kyushu. He felt a little speechless. He was so old, but he could still be fascinated by these things. Should he think of a way to persuade the old man? Yunhai walked up to the old man and said, Old man, I still need your advice on breaking the formation. Can you first? Snapped. Yunhai had a slap mark on his face. The old man said impatiently, Don't bother me, I'm studying. Do you understand if you live to learn? Yunhai, where can I learn something? There is no skill. Suddenly, Yunhai heard muffled laughter coming from around him. He turned around and saw a group of men in black looking at his face in astonishment. Yunhai glared at everyone. What are you looking at? Trash, can't even break through a lord's formation. All the men in black lowered their heads, and no one dared to speak. Yunhai couldn't find anyone who could get angry, so he turned his finger on Mo Jinggong. Yunhai looked at Mo Jinggong, who was Fengshen Junyu, and said in a cold voice, Master Mo's methods are really amazing. He diverted disaster to the east and successfully made everyone ignore the problem of the previous treasure. Treasure, it's just you talking about it from beginning to end. Why should Venerable Yunhai hold on to something that has no basis? Mo Jinggong stood with his hands behind his back, his clothes flying, like a god, showing his unparalleled dignity. There are so many people here, and they all feel it, how can something go wrong? Yunhai's eyes were stern, Mo Jinggong was really incompetent. But the visions of heaven and earth will not lie. Moreover, the aura at the moment when the treasure appeared came from behind Mo Jinggong. No one except Mo Jinggong had the chance to get the treasure. Treasure, the old man raised his head and looked at Mo Jinggong with a pair of wise eyes. The old man returned the message order to Yunhai, but he didn't expect that after years of having no desires and desires, he was almost lost in thought by a small token. The transmission order must be banned and cannot be circulated on Kyushu News. The old man spoke slowly, Young Master Mo, the thing must be in your hands, right? As long as you hand it over, I can agree to any conditions. After the old man finished speaking, he nodded to himself and first promised huge benefits to tempt people to hand over the things. This must be in line with the pie-making routine. He will also buy a sound transmission card later and take it back secretly. After all, a lot of the knowledge on it is still very useful. Really, Mo Jinggong's eyes seemed to be smiling but not smiling. Of course, in order to show my sincerity, the old man took a bottle of Yuanyang pill from Yunhai's hand. This bottle of Yuanyang pill is given to the young master as a token of sincerity. The old man threw the porcelain bottle at Mo Jinggong, but the sea of clouds couldn't stop him at all. Old man, you express your sincerity, how can you take my things? Yunhai was speechless, why did he always bully him because of his seniority? Yunhai, I have to keep my things for old age. You are still young and you will get more good things. Don't worry about it. After I die, all my things will be yours. The old voice was a little lower. Really leave them all to me. Yunhai's eyes lit up. How many things must be included in the Zoo God's legacy? Thinking about it, it's actually not that bad. Of course. Yunhai received Kang Lao's assurance and no longer struggled. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 165 Loyalty Gu. Seeing Yunhai accept this statement, Chang Lao became even more sure that he had learned the essence of drawing pie. These young people only know how to watch things, and they don't know anything about them. The old man turned sideways and looked at Mo Jinggong again. When he saw Mo Jinggong taking the porcelain bottle, the old man said, Young Master Mo, you only need to give me the things, and I can give you more. Feng Qingren's apricot eyes flashed with a strange light, and the old man's words seemed familiar. Brother Seventh, you won't believe it, right? Things belong to Qingyun State, I can't make the decision for the old man. Mo Jinggong's eyes were cold and he glanced at Feng Qingren who was gloating about his misfortune. Can the little junior sister be beaten when she grows up? Then take out the things and show them to me, and I'll give them to you. Kang Lao looked at Yun Hai. Yun Hai immediately held his natal magic weapon and ran away. Old man, this is my natal magic weapon, no. The old man raised his withered hand, picked out a lying figure in black, and sucked the storage ring into his palm. Then he erased the mark on it, glanced at the contents inside, and threw it to Mo Jinggong with great satisfaction. The old man said sincerely, this is my sincerity, you can see it. Mo Jinggong raised his slender fingers lightly, and a ball of energy enveloped the ring. Fang Qingran narrowed her almond-shaped eyes. This ring seemed familiar. Where did she meet? Countless episodes flashed through Fang Qingran's mind, and she recalled them carefully. When the old man saw that Mo Jinggong did not accept the ring, his eyes turned cold. Young Master Mo, what does this mean? Do you dislike this Sumeru ring? When Fang Qingran heard about the Zumi ring, she suddenly remembered her trip to the black market a few years ago. She had seen Su Yanran holding a Zumi ring and asking someone from Tongwen Pavilion to erase the mark on it. That ring was exactly the same as the one in front of me except for the color. Then it can be concluded that Su Yanran's Sumeru ring must have come from the Bailey family. It's just unclear how Su Yanran obtained the ring. But Fang Qingran had no intention of telling the Bailey family these things. The old man couldn't fathom Mo Jinggong's thoughts, so he turned his attention to Fang Qingran. Seeing her staring at the Zumi ring with great energy, he had an idea in his mind. Little girl, do you want this Zumi ring? The old man said in a seductive tone. When Fang Qingran heard what the old man said, she immediately waved her hand. There could be pie in the sky. But those who show courtesy for nothing must have bad intentions. Senior brother 7th, let's leave quickly, these people are so strange. Fang Qingran said, pretending to be unhappy. Mo Jinggong threw the ring to the old man, it's a good thing, but I don't need the loyalty goo. The old eyes showed surprise, and he could even see such high-level things as goo. But he underestimated Mo Jinggong. It seems that Mo Jinggong is beyond the control of the Bailey family. Such a person must not be let go. Including the two little girls next to him, they all had to die. As for the other people in Qingyun Prefecture, whether they live or die depends on their surrender to the Bailey family. In an instant, killing intent burst out from the old man's body, and the precious bread, heaven and earth Chankan will. Listen to my order and break the formation. The old man's voice fell, and the 18 men in black exuded majestic pressure, standing on the 18th position of the formation. The man in black held the magic formula in his hand, and his whole body exploded with majestic power. When Fang Qingran saw the movements of the man in black, a chill ran down his spine, and he exploded the formation. Isn't this equivalent to using one's own strength to blow up the auxiliary formation and force the damage back to the person setting up the formation? No. We absolutely cannot let them break the formation like this. Fang Qingran lowered his hand, and Qingguan's sword suddenly appeared in his hand. Fang Qingran's glazed eyes are as bright as the spring moon, her lips are red without any dots, and her eyebrows are green without paint. Her eyes were cold and her aura was at the tip of her eyebrows. As long as she interrupted a false god to self-destruct, the old plan would not succeed. But if there are 2 more people to destroy the self-destruction of the false god, the 7th senior brother will suffer less backlash. Bailey Wenyu raised his hand, and a jade flute floated in his hand. A pair of fox eyes added a bit of charm to his appearance. Bailey Wenyu put the jade flute to his lips, with dragon and phoenix postures, and his movements showed pride and chic. When Fang Qingran saw that Bailey Wenyu was using a jade flute, she knew that senior brother 6 was serious. There was also a whip in Ning Shiyu's hand, her eyes were shining, and her whole body was filled with spiritual energy. Fang Qingran looked sideways, her beautiful eyes looking at Leguang, this is her partner on the journey to immortality. The old man had a panoramic view of the movements of the 3 of them, and his sunken eyes showed mockery. A group of ignorant juniors, do you know who you are facing? It doesn't matter who they are. What matters is that the corrupt people who are above will suffer the consequences sooner or later. Fang Qingran's voice was clear and sonorous. Presumptuous, Yun Hai scolded loudly. The old man looked at Mo Jinggong, who he thought was sensible. Young Master Mo, are you just going to let them do whatever they want? Mo Jinggong's dark eyes were cold and deep, silent. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes narrowed slightly, her figure flashed like a light swallow, holding a sword in her bare hand, and charged straight towards a virtual god. Ning Shiyu followed closely behind, raising her jade hand and whipping the whip like a snake towards a virtual god. Xiao Hongyu was still silently discussing terms with Beilun when he suddenly saw the actions of Fang Qingran and Ning Shiyu and said angrily. It's nonsense, it's just nonsense. Mr. Mo, please tell him to stop. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 166 Eternal Golden Dragon Talisman. Mo Jinggong didn't even look at Xiao Hongyu. Mo Jinggong raised his slender hand and drew something in the air with his fingertips. Soon, countless golden runes flew out from the formation, and the mysterious and complex runes shimmered together. In an instant, the golden light was bright and dazzling, and a golden dragon was born in front of Zhu Qiang's eyes. Roar. With an earth-shattering roar. All the powerful men looked horrified, with chills running down their spines, staring dumbly at the golden dragon hanging above the formation. The old sunken eyes stared at the golden dragon and murmured to himself, the eternal golden dragon talisman, someone can actually use this kind of heaven-defying talisman. I'm afraid the Bailey family will be defeated. Mo Jinggong raised his cold handsome eyes and felt a strong wind blowing from his sleeves. Immediately afterwards, the giant dragon flew out, its giant tail brushed across Fang Qingran's back, and several golden runes sank into Fang Qingran's body. Instantly, the Qingluan sword in Fang Qingran's hand emitted a burst of green light, and a phantom of Qingluan appeared. The blade became sharper, as if it could cut off everything. Zushin, who had looked down upon Fang Qingran, suddenly felt a chill all over his body, and a feeling of death spread in his heart. He ignored the action of breaking the formation and subconsciously drew out the magical weapon to fight against it. Zhang. The sharp blades collided, and in the light of calcium carbide and fire, Zhu Shen's sword was cut off by Qingguan. Zhu Shen was stunned for a moment. Why could a nascent soul cut off Zhu Shen's magic weapon? This thought flashed through Zhu Shen's mind. The moment the sword broke, Zhu Shen threw away the magic weapon, and a powerful spiritual power was transported between the metacarpal bones. No matter how powerful Feng Qinggran is, he cannot be the opponent of Zhu Shen. Zhu Shen did not dare to be careless. When Feng Qinggran approached, he raised his hand and slapped Feng Qinggran's Tianling cap with all his strength. No matter how powerful a monk is, the position of his head is always fragile. Boom! Zhu Shen swung out his palm with all his strength, bursting out with frightening power. At this moment, the dust flew into the air and captivated everyone's attention. Master Mo, you have harmed them after all. Xiao Hongyu shook his head and looked at Mo Jinggong. The movement of Mo Jinggong's hand did not stop, and the golden dragon came to Ning Xiyu and blew a golden dragon's breath at Ning Xiyu. His pair of phoenix eyes are bottomless, and he is wearing a robe with black silver silk and flowing cloud embroidery. Every move of his hand gives people the aura of a king who dominates the world. Xiao Hongyu was a little angry at Mo Jinggong's disobedience. He could obviously use these things to gain more rights and interests, so why did these juniors insist on causing a stalemate in the Bailey family? When they do this, where are the others? What if the Bailey family is completely angered and the Bailey family is so angry that they want to kill people but have no time to do it? Mr. Mo, I order you to stop all your actions. Xiao Hongyu yelled angrily. At this moment, a melodious flute sounded. Zhu Qiang listened to the soft and light sound of the flute and looked at Bailey Wenyu with strange expressions. Isn't it inappropriate to play a song at this time? But Bailey Wenyu ignored Zhu Qiang at all, and the sound of the flute gradually changed, changing endlessly, making everyone unpredictable. Only Bailey Yuanmo heard something was wrong with the sound of the flute. His nephew had been different since he was a child. When others were practicing, Bailey Wenyu always liked to go to the spiritual beast garden. Whenever Bailey Wen appears in the spiritual beast garden, those extremely ferocious beasts will calm down and listen to Bailey Wen playing music quietly. But his eldest brother disliked Bailey Wenyu being so embarrassed and forced Bailey Wenyu to practice. Later, Bailey Wenyu hid the jade flute, held a sharp sword, and showed a bit of pride in his eyebrows. Everyone in the Bailey family didn't know that the jade flute that Bailey Wenyu used best was the jade flute, not the sword. At this moment, Bailey Wenyu took out the jade flute again, which meant that Bailey Wenyu became serious. But this is Shungu Ridge, and the level of the spiritual beasts there is not very high. What is Bailey Wenyu's intention in playing the flute? Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes flashed with a hint of darkness. He hadn't seen him for decades, and he didn't know his nephew at all. At this time, a clear voice sounded, 5th senior sister, I am 7 and you are 3, and leave the rest 6th senior brother. Okay, don't worry, little junior sister. Ning Shiyu's voice was like a silver bell, gentle and spiritual. Ning Shiyu's whip was covered with a light purple color, giving people a chilling feeling. Ning Xiyu exerted her strength on her wrist and swung out the whip, like a snake, towards the man in black not far away. The man in black who was breaking the formation suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He jumped over to avoid the whip that was coming at him. He thought the whip had missed him. But when he just landed, the whip folded back and wrapped around his neck with lightning speed. The man in black was shocked, and all the strength in his body gathered together, trying to crush the whip. But the seemingly weak whip is actually extremely tough. The man in black immediately came up with another countermeasure, pulled out his magical weapon and stabbed Ning Xiyu. Ning Xiyu's smart eyes flashed with rays of light. She raised her hand and threw the whip, her body light enough to avoid the blow of the virtual god. Then she jumped up and held the whip. Sorry, please choose a good master in the next life. As Ning Xiyu finished speaking, a sharp blade suddenly appeared on the whip. The blade flashed with cold light and cut towards the throat of the man in black. Boom! The sound of a heavy object falling to the ground. The head of the man in black fell to the ground, his eyes still showing disbelief. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 167, sorted as a fat sheep. What? How is this possible? Yunhai said in shock when he saw Ning Xiyu killing Zhu Shen. Holy shit, how did she do it? But she already killed 3 people in a blink of an eye. Xiao Qingfeng's exclamation directly covered the sea of clouds. Yunhai turned to look at Xiao Qingfeng. Xiao Qingfeng immediately put away his gloating eyes and pointed in the direction of Feng Qingran. Yunhai looked in the direction pointed by Xiao Qingfeng. I saw a stunningly beautiful woman in green, with her sleeves fluttering and holding a Qingluan sword in her hand, like a swimming dragon, as graceful as a startling giant. Killing the void god was as simple as picking something out of a bag. Yunhai. Yunhai walked up to Xiao Qingfeng and said, are you sure your Qingyun prefecture can raise such a little monster? Xiao Qingfeng came back from the shock, a flash of light flashed in his dark eyes, and he said with great pride, look at your unseen look, geniuses like ours from Qingyun province are everywhere. Yunhai's eyes narrowed slightly, why are these words so familiar? Never mind. This is not the time to care about these things. Yunhai continued to ask, what's her name? It's strange, why didn't our Bailey family get any news about such a person? HMPH, what do you want to do? Let me tell you, the evil deeds of the Bailey family have been exposed, and you can't even think about harming the descendants of Qingyun prefecture. Xiao Qingfeng looked wary. He and Feng Qingran really didn't deal with each other, but Feng Qingran was too embarrassed by Qingyun at the moment, and he couldn't dismantle Feng Qingran. Moreover, if a junior like Feng Qingran told the Bailey family, wouldn't it be in vain? Yunhai's face looked a little ugly. I was just curious. She hid her cultivation before, but I didn't notice it. Now that she has revealed all her cultivation, I discovered that she is actually a 19-year-old nascent soul. What happened to the 19-year-old nascent soul? He really has never seen the world. Xiao Qingfeng's dark eyes showed mockery. Xiao Qingfeng snorted coldly in his heart. He was mocking their virtual gods before, but now he is being slapped in the face. Can you put it another way? We are not having a good chat. Yunhai was a little helpless. Is this like shooting himself in the foot? Xiao Qingfeng nodded and said happily, in other words, that's fine. Anyway, I have never seen the world. This is the first time in my life that I have seen the 19-year-old nascent soul. Yunhai. The old guy is too vindictive. Even the secret techniques of our Bailey family may not be able to be cultivated. A 19-year-old nascent soul, your Lingyun sect is really amazing. Yunhai gave Fang Qingran a thumbs up. The afterlife is terrifying. Xiao Qingfeng concealed the shock in her eyes very well. If he hadn't known Yi Wenshan's personality, he would have thought that Fang Qingran was an evil cultivator. But even if the Lingyun sect's spiritual energy is rich, it's impossible for Fang Qingran to be so defiant. Xiao Qingfeng still doubted that Fang Qingran had obtained the inheritance of the Mahayana Immortal Lord. It's just that you must not talk about the inheritance of the Immortal Lord with the people of the Bailey family, otherwise these bandits will definitely attack again. Xiao Qingfeng glanced at Yunhai. Of course Lingyun sect is amazing. Yi Wenshan is the youngest virtual god in our Qingyun province. He can crush you with one finger. Yunhai shook his head and said no more. Xiao Qingfeng looked at the dead virtual gods one by one, and couldn't help but ask Yunhai, your men are dead, why don't you feel sad at all? Is there any use in feeling sorry for them? These 4 people are already killing each other like crazy. I'm going up now, probably just to deliver food. I might as well wait for them to vent their anger before we have a good talk. Yunhai said with a calm expression. He really didn't care about the life or death of these people. These virtual gods are all mass-produced by the Bailey family. If these dies, someone will soon take over. He was more curious about the Lord's formation than the death of false god. Ning Xiyu and Fang Qingran were able to deal with Zhu Shen all because they were in Mo Jinggong's formation. Once they leave the protection of the formation, they will not be able to survive any trouble. How many virtual gods do you have in the Bailey family? Are they created like this? Xiao Qingfeng's eyes widened and he was shocked. Don't ask about the Bailey family's affairs, Yunhai said coldly. Xiao Qingfeng took a step back and murmured, if you don't want to pry, don't pry. Anyway, this, like a sudden guest in the world, will expose everything about your Bailey family sooner or later. Yunhai suddenly turned his head when he heard this and looked at Xiao Qingfeng, his eyes filled with an unknown meaning. Xiao Qingfeng took a few steps back. Well, what do you want to do? Yunhai's expression was unnatural. Don't worry, I just want to ask if I can borrow your sound transmission card. Definitely not. Everyone's sound transmission card is unique, you want to buy it for yourself. Xiao Qingfeng covered her sound transmission card tightly, and then changed the subject, but if you want it, I have it here, there are many, do you want to buy them? Give it to me, Yunhai said cheerfully. 100,000 spirit stones. Xiao Qingfeng said loudly. Yunhai narrowed his cold eyes, are you going to kill me like a fat sheep? I can give you at most top quality spiritual stones, and any more. Deal. Xiao Qingfeng quickly put a new sound transmission card into Yunhai's hand, and then opened his hand to ask for the spirit stone. Xiao Qingfeng asked for it casually, but he didn't expect that there would be a fool who refused to bargain. When he bought this sound transmission card, he spent low-grade spiritual stones, which is equivalent to 10 top-grade spiritual stones. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 168 Level 9 Decompression Talisman. After Yunhai gave the spirit stone and got the sound transmission card, he always felt that something was wrong. But if you think about it carefully, it seems like nothing. Yunhai held the sound transmission token in his hand and looked at the mirror of the token, a little stunned. Why is this thing not as convenient as the sound transmission token? Seeing Yunhai's stunned look, Xiao Qingfeng stepped forward and said, don't you know how to use it? I'll teach you. You need to click on this glazed stone, wait for the mirror to light up, click in, and then register. Xiao Qingfeng stopped at the registration screen. Yunhai looked at the content required to be filled in, name, gender, age, cultivation, height, appearance, hobbies. Yunhai's eyes flashed slightly, this sound transmission card is really troublesome. Unlike teleportation notes, you can communicate by just exchanging breath. Garbage. Yunhai was a little unhappy. He regretted buying this thing. Xiao Qingfeng saw that Yunhai was not moving and urged, why don't you fill it out? Just fill it out casually. After filling this out, you can enter the page for adding fellow Taoists and group chat, where there will be more interesting things. Is it okay to fill in a false statement? Yunhai said in surprise. Of course, these days, only fools tell the truth. Xiao Qingfeng looked at Yunhai, you don't want to tell the truth, do you? Yunhai did not answer, but asked, let me see what you filled in. Xiao Qingfeng wanted to refuse, but when he thought about the spiritual stone he had obtained, he took it out and clicked on a page. On the left side of the mirror is a row of portraits, with a small red flower on the upper right. Xiao Qingfeng tapped the little red flower, and after entering, the 4 characters, Juju Si and Wen, came into view. The messages displayed later were all the ones Yunhai had just seen. Suddenly, Yunhai narrowed his eyes and glanced at the line of words in the upper right corner, the most handsome male cultivator in Qingyun State. Yunhai glanced up and down at Xiao Qingfeng, you're a shameless old man. What you're doing is simply a scam. What a scam. When I was young, I was also sought after by thousands of girls. Xiao Qingfeng became famous in his old age. He did not expect that Yunhai would look at it so carefully. Xiao Qingfeng put away the sound transmission card and said, you'd better get yours quickly. We can also add a friend. Yunhai was not polite and quickly finished it, adding Xiao Qingfeng. A handsome man from Kyushu. You. Xiao Qingfeng glanced at Yunhai, who looked at the fierce mask on his face and shook his head. I've seen shamelessness, but I've never seen anyone so shameless. Yun Hai was immediately unconvinced and pointed at Mo Jinggong. His appearance can be said to be unrivaled, right? Him. Xiao Qingfeng looked at Mo Jinggong and shook his head. I can't see clearly, but I can feel it. His appearance must be unparalleled in the world. Surprise flashed in Yun Hai's eyes. How could he not see clearly? Not just him, I can't see the other three clearly either. Xiao Qingfeng continued. The consciousness of the sea of clouds spread and fell on Ning Xiyu. In an instant, her pupils trembled slightly. What a guy. The 7th level concealment talisman, the 8th level phantom face talisman, and the 9th level decompression talisman. If he were not at the peak of virtual god, he would be like Xiao Qingfeng, unable to spy on the appearance of Mo Jinggong and others. The 9th level decompression talisman can neutralize the pressure and multiple attacks of the false god. No wonder Fang Qinggran and Ning Xiyu are not afraid of the power of the false god. But where did their talismans come from? 7th level talisman masters did not exist in Kyushu continent thousands of years ago. Yun Hai was suddenly frightened. He lived in a Bailey family and was used to being arrogant. He had never considered the problem that there are people outside the world and there is a sky outside the world. Yun Hai told Kang Lao and Bailey Yuanmo about the talisman. Kang Lao and Bailey Yuanmo's attention was entirely on Mo Jinggong, not the other three. Kang Lao and Bailey Yuanmo released their spiritual consciousness at the same time to check Mo Jinggong, Fang Qinggran and others. Mo Jinggong only had the magic face talisman on him, and nothing else. As expected, the other three people all had 3 talismans. Because the level of the talisman was too high, they might have discovered it all along if they hadn't deliberately investigated. Yuanmo, this matter is of great importance and must be reported to the head of the family immediately. The old man looked solemn. Above the 9 provinces, most people only know that talisman masters are precious, but they don't know the benefits of talismans. After all, there are very few monks who can use the talismans. But living in Bailey's family and enjoying the benefits brought by the talisman since childhood, Bailey Yuanmo knew clearly that the talisman was equivalent to the monk's second life. And in a sense, talismans are far more precious than elixirs. When monks use elixirs, they will benefit while leaving behind erysipelas. But this won't happen when using talismans. It's just that there are too few talisman masters, and most of the things about talismans have been lost. Over time, talisman masters have almost disappeared on the Jushu continent. Old man, how should we explain the current situation to the head of the family? Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes were gloomy. Talisman master. Could Uncle Jung's disappearance be related to these people? Report it truthfully and see what the head of the family says. The old man's eyes were cloudy. Nothing else matters. But the talisman master is different. Leave these few people behind, find the real talisman master, and then try your best to recruit them. That's the first thing they do. When Bailey Yuanmo took out the transmission talisman and was about to send a message to the head of the Bailey family. Boom. Boom. Several explosions sounded. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 169. The Lee family temporarily compromises. In an instant, the sky was filled with blood mist, and limbs were flying around. Boom. A severed hand fell onto Bailey Yuanmo's feet. Bailey Yuanmo lowered his head, looking at the blood stains on his clothes, and the strong killing intent exuding from his body, and crushed the transmission talisman in his hand. He wanted to see who did it. Boss, calm down, Yun Hai urged fearfully, but did not dare to step forward. Bailey Yuanmo has extremely severe mysophobia. He has zero tolerance for dirt, especially this kind of dirt thrown on him. Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes narrowed slightly, and he glanced around and found that 8 of the virtual gods who broke the formation exploded and died. 8. Fang Qinggran said before that she was 7, Ning Xiyu was 3, and Bailey Wenyu was 8. So these 8 people were killed by his good nephew. Bailey Wenyu knew what he was doing. When did Bailey Wenyu learn to use music to kill people? Bailey Yuanmo's breath was icy cold. He had been trying to find a way to get Bailey Wenyu back to Bailey's house these years. As a result, Bailey Wenyu surrendered himself. Boss, everyone who broke the formation is dead. Do you need to send more people? Yun Hai asked tentatively. No, give me the transmission notes. Bailey Yuanmo stretched out his hand. He had been staying in Qingyun Prefecture for these years, so he had no habit of keeping the transmission notes. Yun Hai didn't dare to delay, so he took out the transmission note and handed it to Bailey Yuanmo. Yuanmo, don't be angry. No matter what, the Bailey family's blood is flowing. Sooner or later, he will come back. Let him stay there for the time being. The old man comforted Bailey Yuanmo's emotions. Chang Lao is actually happy now. The better the relationship between Bailey Wenyu, Mo Jinggong and others, the more benefits they will get when they invite Bailey Wenyu to return in the future. Bailey Yuan silently shook his head. Old man, his heart has long been no longer at Bailey's house, and he will never come back. The old man disagreed. Back then, that woman made a serious mistake and was expelled from Bailey's house. As long as he still thinks of his mother in his heart, I have plenty of ways to convince him. No matter how deep the relationship between brothers is, can it be deeper than flesh and blood? Bailey Wenyu is a direct descendant of the Bailey family. As long as they are willing to restore his status as a direct descendant, Bailey Wenyu will definitely come back happily. But this time, the transmission talisman in Bailey Yuanmo's hand lit up, and a majestic voice came from inside. Why are we reporting such an important matter now? Since they are so outstanding, then find a way to let them participate in the street fighting competition. When they enter the Xuanyu secret realm, sooner or later they will be members of our Bailey family. Besides, as long as the conditions he puts forward are not excessive, you can agree first. Anyway, Juju is under the control of the Bailey family, and a small Lingyun sect cannot change the world. The voice of the head of the Bailey family was confident and dignified, and Mo Jinggong didn't take it seriously at all. After listening to the words of the family leader, the three of them looked at each other for a few times. Yunhai spoke first. Boss, does the family leader want us to pull out of Qingyun State? Others are easy to say, but Kungshun Pavilion is the strength of the Luo family. Let the Luo family withdraw from Qingyun Prefecture. Bailey Yuanmo's purple eyes were deep. The old man waved his hand and said, Yuanmo, leave the Luo family matters to me. You can negotiate with young Master Mo for the rest of the negotiation. I'm old and I can't stand the trouble. After the old man finished speaking, his rickety figure disappeared from everyone's eyes. In an instant, everyone suddenly relaxed and the pressure disappeared. Bailey Yuan glanced at Yunhai silently. Does the old man have something important to do? Bailey Yuanmo always felt that the old figure leaving was a bit anxious and deliberate. Isn't he going to deal with matters at Kungshun Pavilion? Yunhai asked puzzledly. Bailey Yuanmo's eyes flashed with a gleam. You shouldn't be so anxious about Kungshun Pavilion's affairs, right? He and Mo Jinggong haven't talked yet. Bailey Yuanmo felt a little helpless and cupped his hands towards the cold and dignified Mo Jinggong. Master Mo, our Bailey family can agree to your request. Can Mr. Bailey's words be taken seriously? Mo Jinggong said in a deep voice. Of course. Bailey Yuan confirmed silently. 6 months later. Qingyun Prefecture, Prefecture City. Lively and lively. In these 6 months, Qingyun Prefecture has undergone earth-shaking changes. First of all, the most shocking thing is that the three major forces, Shumo Pavilion, Kungshun Pavilion, and Fuyu Lingqi Pavilion, have all withdrawn from Qingyun Prefecture. Qinghe Tower and Tongwen Pavilion have suddenly become the two largest forces in Qingyun State, and the various things they sell are of high quality and low price, and are deeply loved by the monks. There are also several aristocratic families who suddenly become Loki. There is also the discovery of a spiritual bath in Shunghu Ridge. The 4 major sects have turned Shunghu Ridge into a secret realm. All monks below the stage of becoming gods have 3 chances to enter. The biggest thing left is tomorrow's selection competition. The competition is tomorrow. Why hasn't 8th senior brother shown up yet? Fang Qingran sat in the side room and looked out through the window. The 8th junior brother is afraid. He heard that the transformation god can directly advance to the finals, so he said that he can be notified when the finals are held. Ning Xiyu said with a look of envy. Bailey Wenyu's eyes widened and he asked in surprise, so the reason why senior brother and 7th senior brother are so relaxed and comfortable is because they don't have to worry about the competition ahead at all. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 170. Just like a surprise guest in the world. Mo Jinggong's poetic phoenix eyes flashed with a glimmer of light, and he remained silent. Lu Kanglan put down the teacup, a smile flashed in his warm eyes. Wenyue, if you are willing to show your true skills, you can advance directly. Bailey Wenyu blinked his fox eyes, with pride on his brows, and said in a helpless voice, I am in the early stage of nascent soul, and I am no better than my senior brother in becoming a god. How can I advance directly to the finals? Wenyu's deeds of annihilating 8 false gods with a single sound kill 6 months ago have now spread throughout the 4 major sects. I don't know how many people he is their idol, Lu Kanglan said with a gentle voice. Senior brother, if you mention this, I will get angry. Bailey Wenyu said angrily and slapped the table. Lu Kanglan was about to speak to comfort Bailey Wenyu, but the anger suddenly disappeared from Bailey Wenyu's face. Bailey Wenyu touched his chin and said, Senior brother, do you think the person who is, just like a shocking guest in the world, worships me? Otherwise, why did you write that I am so, suave, heroic and mighty, to make me go out now? You all have to dress up in disguise. A hint of helplessness appeared on Lu Kanglan's gentle face and he did not answer. Ning Xiyu rolled her eyes. I have seen narcissistic people, but I have never seen anyone more narcissistic than you. They just included you in the story when they were writing about the Shunghuling incident. The little junior sister I wrote about is more handsome, isn't it? One sword Jingguan kills the virtual god. Her shadow is as beautiful as a wandering dragon, as bright as the sun rising into the morning glow, and as bright as a flower rising from Lubo. Ning Xi's eyes were filled with joy and she made a face at Bailey Wenyu. If he doesn't suppress it, he will almost fly into the sky. Fang Qingran, who was named by Ning Xiyu, lowered her head and drank tea by herself. When she heard them mention, just like a surprise guest in the world, Fang Qingran felt guilty unconsciously. The key is that they didn't realize that there were 2 surprising guests in the world on Juju News. None of the things that 5th senior sister mentioned were written by her. It was written by another person, but she asked Qinghe Tower to investigate several times, but they could not find where the other surprise guest in the world was. That's not right, Jinggong. Jinggong, 7th junior brother, that person can't be you, right? Ning Xiyu's sparkling eyes stared at the silent Mo Jinggong. Mo Jinggong's red lips were slightly raised, and he glanced sideways. Fang Qingran, who looked guilty, said in a deep voice, is the 5th senior sister talking about Jinggong? Ning Xiyu looked at Mo Jinggong's cold eyes and shook her head. I must be overthinking. How could junior brother 7 like to write such gossip? Bailey Wenyu continued, of course, our 7th junior brother has always been cold and aloof. Except for the fact that the younger junior sister can make him change his face, the 7th junior brother will never put so much thought into other people's affairs. Lu Kanglan's gentle eyes were slightly dark. What the 7th junior brother just said did not mean to deny it, right? Are these 2 people starting to figure it out on their own again? Lu Kanglan obviously didn't want to expose this, so he quietly watched Ning Xiyu and Bailey Wenyu having fun, and suddenly remembered the 4th junior brother's words, the peach blossoms at Wenyu Peak are blooming in full bloom. Single quote. It's really strong. It's a pity that Mu Chanjue won't have the chance to see it for the time being. Mu Chanjue, who was hard at work refining the weapon in Lingyun sect, sneezed several times in succession. He rubbed his nose, took a bite of the spread fruit, and continued to refine the weapon without daring to take a break. The scene returned to the private room. Fang Qingren's apricot eyes were shining, and she looked at Lu Kanglan. Senior brother, haven't fourth senior brother finished refining his things? A year ago, Mu Chanjue accepted the order given by Lu Kanglan. After that, Chanjue Peak was closed and no one could enter. He is still a little behind, but Qianju's competition will not be held until 2 months later, so he will definitely be able to make it in time. Lu Kanglan smiled calmly. Completely unaware, Mu Chanjue was so anxious that he almost burned down the entire Chanjue Peak. Fang Qingren's eyes flashed. She actually wanted to talk to her senior brother about another matter, but it had been too many years and she didn't know how to speak. When Fang Qingren was hesitating, Lu Kanglan took out a stack of jade sips and said warmly, some news about tomorrow's game. Han Yan and Jian Yi haven't come yet. You guys can see for yourselves first. All fellow Taoists are welcome to participate in the selection competition. Before the competition begins, there are some rules that need to be explained clearly to everyone. Xiao Hongyu's voice was loud and majestic. The thousands of people gathered in the square suddenly fell silent. This competition is to select 100 outstanding juniors to go to Huiling State to participate in the street fighting competition. Everyone who can come to participate in this competition means that you are already very good, so even if someone is eliminated in the follow-up, there is no need to be discouraged. Now let me read out the rules of the competition. Regarding sword training, spiritual training, and physical training, the first 3 rounds of the competition will adopt a single elimination system. Once you lose, you will be eliminated directly. The third round will be an arena competition. If the defender wins 10 games, he or she can advance to the finals. The finals are based on rankings and no one will be eliminated. The rules of the arena competition are, the party with a high level of cultivation cannot cross the next level to challenge. As for the talisman, alchemy, weapon refining, formation and other competitions, they will start in 2 months, so please be prepared. In addition, the 5 gods who appeared in this competition will directly advance to the finals, so only 95 places will be left in the 4th round of selection. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 171 Climbing the Ladder. After Xiao Hongyu finished speaking, he returned to his high position. And those people standing on the square seemed to explode in an instant, and they burst into exclamations one after another. What the hell? Transformation into a god. In this competition, isn't it stipulated that the age of the contestants must not be over years old? How could there be a transformation into a god? No wonder the 4 major sects did not open the selection process in the past. It turned out to be to protect our self-esteem. I heard that Yuan Ying doesn't even have the right to resist against the transformed god. Isn't this a pure attack on people? Some people sigh, and I think some people also have doubts. When Xiao Qingfeng went up and announced the rules of the first game, someone shouted loudly under the square, what is the god transformation? Why don't you please come out and show us? We also want to meet people who have cultivated themselves into god transformation within the age of 500. Yes, we all want to take a look. Led by one person, the shouts became louder and louder, all demanding that the 5 transformed gods be called out. Xiao Qingfeng glared coldly, and in an instant, coercion enveloped the entire square. Immediately, everyone was silent and their faces turned pale. Xiao Qingfeng had a bad temper and said sarcastically, if I call someone out and show you, can you surpass them? The other 3 sect leaders looked at Xiao Qingfeng with strange expressions in their eyes. After Xiao Qingfeng came back from Shungaling, he learned a sarcastic skill and could no longer speak well. Xiao Qingfeng didn't care what others thought. Most of the people making trouble here were lacking in strength and felt that they had some shady secrets. They were afraid that the 5 people would steal their spots. Quiet, do you hear me? This is the preliminary competition place, not the vegetable market. If you want to see the 5 gods, you have to work hard to enter the finals. You are not worthy of seeing them now. Do you understand? Xiao Qingfeng had just finished speaking. At this time, one of the contestants was unconvinced and said, aren't you being too overbearing? We just want the truth. Xiao Qingfeng looked at the aggrieved junior in grey, overbearing. I'll leave you a piece of underwear. If you don't want it, don't blame me. Xiao Qingfeng glanced around and looked at Fang Qingran in the crowd. Mo Jinggong was not here today, but there were 2 unfamiliar faces around Fang Qingran. Among them was a man in blue, with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, a tall and straight figure, and a pair of black eyes like an eagle in the dark night. He was handsome, with an extraordinary bearing. He was holding a lone sword in his hand. This should be Yi Wenshan's second disciple, Degu Jianyi. Xiao Qingfeng looked at Degu Jianyi's cultivation again and was immediately surprised. He was at the peak of the nascent soul stage, 1 step short of a virtual god. Xiao Qingfeng hid the wonder in her eyes and looked at the other woman next to Fang Qingran. The woman is wearing a purple brocade skirt, with a beautiful face, jade-like skin, and a temperament like the peerless snow lotus on the top of the cold mountain. She is cold and indifferent, does not eat fireworks, just like the goddess of ice and snow. This must be Yi Wenshan's 3rd disciple, Qin Hanyan. She is also at the peak of the nascent soul stage. Xiao Qingfeng cursed in his heart. Yi Wenshan was really lucky. All the apprentices he accepted were among the best, with outstanding grace. Words like envy and jealousy are no longer enough to describe Xiao Qingfeng's mood at the moment. Xiao Qingfeng only thought about this for a moment, and soon, he noticed it in his heart. Unable to deal with Yi Wenshan, he attacked his apprentice. Xiao Qingfeng said to the grey junior, you are 400 years old now, right? The grey-robed junior nodded with a proud expression. Junior is 400 years old and has reached the middle stage of nascent soul. Well, it's not bad. Xiao Qingfeng pretended to appreciate it, and continued, look to your right, there is a young man in blue there. He is less than 100 years old now, at the peak of the nascent soul stage. Everyone looked in the direction Xiao Qingfeng said, and their eyes fell on Degu Jianyi. Degu Jian tightened his thin lips and frowned slightly. Everyone looked at Gu Jian for a moment, and they were all stunned. They didn't expect that there was such a genius. The young man in grey robe was greatly shocked and looked completely lost. Xiao Qingfeng's cold voice sounded again, "Are you convinced?" Everyone nodded, but at the same time they were wary of Gu Jianjuo. Feng Qingran's apricot eyes met Xiao Qingfeng's again, and Feng Qingran was sure that Xiao Qingfeng did it on purpose. I purposely pointed out the cultivation of my second senior brother at this time, so that several members of Lingyun's sect would become the target of public criticism. Xiao Qingfeng narrowed his cold eyes, flashed a smirk, and then moved his eyes away as if nothing had happened. I'm afraid you don't know that there are several talented people hidden among you, right? You should pray at this moment that you don't meet them too early in the next game. Now, I announce the rules of the first round of competition. The first round of competition is to climb the ladder. Xiao Qingfeng said and waved his hand, and a towering ladder suddenly appeared on the right side of the square. Layers of light clouds and mist enveloped the ladder, and no one could see clearly the real situation of the ladder. Before everyone could marvel at the situation of the ladder, Xiao Qingfeng's voice sounded again. There are 999 steps in the ladder. How many levels you can reach depends on your strength and perseverance. First, anyone who can reach the top of the ladder can directly advance to the fourth round. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 172. Don't panic in the game, give one first. Second, those who cannot reach level will be eliminated directly. Third, among the remaining people, the top will advance. Also, a reminder to everyone, don't rush too fast, otherwise. Well, the competition will start, and the time will be half a month. After Xiao Qingfeng finished speaking, he returned to his high position. The people on the square looked at each other in confusion. It took them half a month to climb a small step. Is this too small of them? Boom. A loud noise attracted everyone's attention. It turned out that someone wanted to use the sword and went up, but he fell down and was chewed in the mud. Can't this use a magic weapon? Someone exclaimed. At this time, someone threw a magic weapon and hit the ladder. Boom. The magic weapon was bounced away when it was about to hit the ladder. Everyone took out their flying magic weapons one after another and tried, but failed. Some people couldn't stand it anymore and stood up and said, don't even try. Isn't it just the TH4? We have 15 days. If we climb slowly, we can reach the top. Only then did everyone react and all ran towards the ladder, fearing that they would run too slow and not be able to grab a spot. Feng Qingran's beautiful eyes are sparkling. Is it a ladder to heaven? Really interesting. In her previous life, she had seen a ladder to heaven. She had no control over how many steps a monk could run. It can be said that the first 20 floors are all about strength. Without strength above the golden core, it is impossible to reach the 21st floor. How many steps you can climb later depends not only on perseverance, but also on talent and luck. Back then, Su Yanran, as the daughter of destiny, had only climbed to more than 700 floors, and it was impossible to go up to the next level. The ladder to heaven is like ascending to the sky. When I first landed, it felt like this, extremely simple. But when you get to the back, every step you climb is like crossing a chasm. Is this why third senior sister gave up participating in the alchemist competition? Little junior sister, why are you looking at the ladder? Gu Jian looked at Feng Qingran. Although the group said that he was the second senior brother, everyone in the Lingyun sect had also acquiesced in this rule over the years. Mo Jinggong is here, listen to Mo Jinggong. Mo Jinggong was not here, so he listened to Lu Kanglan. If Lu Kanglan is not here, then he will listen to his junior sister. If these three people are not here, whoever is stronger will listen. It is not difficult to climb the ladder to heaven. With the strength of the second senior brother, he can climb at least steps or more. However, the second senior brother must be careful about the plots of others on the way up. After all, sect leader Xiao did not say that fighting is prohibited on the way up the ladder. Feng Qing the died sound is like 100 spruts, clear and graceful. The second senior brother is a villain who can beat the heroine to the ground in the later stage, and he will definitely not be worse than the heroine. However, the second senior brother was a bit unlucky, and was eventually plotted by the heroine's admirer, leading to a tragic end. But it won't happen in this life. She asked Gu Jianyi to familiarize himself with various medical poisons in advance and prepared various detoxifying pills for him. The second senior brother will definitely fulfill his wish and become a swordsman. When Gu Jian heard Feng Qingran's words, he fell into deep thought and did not reply. Bailey Wenyu's fox eyes flashed with charm, and he said with a smile, little junior sister, if we can fight, wouldn't we be able to join forces and kick out all the people we don't like? Feng Qingran's mouth twitched. It stands to reason that this is possible. But Feng Qingran knew that Bailey Wenyu would not do that. After all, those who climb high have no time to argue with those at the bottom. The time it took Bailey Wenyu to kill the others was enough for him to climb several floors. Third senior sister, no wonder you want to climb the ladder to heaven. This is much more interesting than refining alchemy. It's a pity that fifth senior sister can't come. Bailey Wenyu said with regret. Qin Hanyan nodded and said nothing, still as cold as frost. What are you waiting for? Why don't you leave quickly? Bailey Wen stepped forward and saw that the three people behind him did not move. Feng Qingran flicked his sleeves, and the table and 4 stools appeared in front of several people. Feng Qingran sat down calmly and said, sixth senior brother, there is no need to worry, there are still 15 days anyway, why not go play for a few days before going? Bailey Wenyu. Are you still the junior sister that I am, the one who is doing great things in the sect? Before Bailey Wenyu could react, Gu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan chose 2 places to sit down. Bailey Wenyu was shocked, so he also found a place to sit down. Feng Qingran saw Bailey Wenyu sitting down and taking out something. There is a saying that the bigger the competition you participate in, the more you need to relax. Let's play mahjong. Fang Qingran blinked her almond-shaped eyes and looked at Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan with burning eyes. These two people in the sect were more involved than her. They were either in seclusion or undergoing training. Today, they were finally caught. What is Mahjong? Degu Jian and the others all looked surprised. Fang Qingran threw out a jade slip and said, Mahjong was invented by a master named Ding Feng a long time ago. Mahjong was popular throughout the world of immortality for a while, but it was later banned by the Bailey family. Now that our Qingyun prefecture is independent, I will find someone to make Mahjong. There are rules on these jade slips. You can take a look first. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes were as bright as spring flowers, and he poured a pile of square cubes on the table. This operation by Fang Qingran and others immediately made the people rushing to climb the ladder speechless. From the high position, Xiao Hongyu looked even more ugly. It's nonsense, it's just nonsense. Where is Yi Wenshan? Find Yi Wenshan for me. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 173. Win one game, lose all the way. Rong Juofen touched his beard and said nonchalantly, Lao Xiao, don't be angry. They are all children. They're naturally very playful. Let them play for a while. This thing looks quite fresh. Sect Master Xiao, they won't change it anyway, so you might as well let them go. Bailey Xuanqing's words were heartbreaking. Xiao Hongyu's face was livid and he glared at Fang Qingran several times. If this was a disciple of the Tianjin sect, he would definitely send her to Sigwo Cliff. But this time, the always taciturn elder of Tianjin sect had dark eyes, flashing with a faint red color. The great elder said solemnly, Sect Master, Lingyun sect has never liked to obey the discipline of the sect alliance. According to the rules, you have the right to abolish Lingyun sect and incorporate its disciples into Tianjin sect. As soon as the great elder said these words, everyone present turned their heads and stared at the great elder of Tianjin sect with burning eyes. There was a hint of disbelief in Xiao Hongyu's eyes as he looked at his elder. It seemed that the elder had changed a lot since he came back from Shungu Ridge. Ha ha ha. Xiao Hongyu, you are such a good elder. Why don't you consider his suggestion? Xiao Qingfeng's gloomy eyes flashed with excitement. If Lingyun sect disappears, then wouldn't all Yi Wenshan's disciples belong to them? Rong Juofen glanced at Xiao Qingfeng, who was smiling treacherously, and said sarcastically, Xiao Qingfeng, it's better to stop dreaming in the clear sky. Xiao Hongyu felt a sudden pain in his forehead. It was really a group of people who just watched the excitement and didn't take it too seriously. Great elder, Lingyun sect has not committed any crime. You must not say such things in the future, Xiao Hongyu said in a stern tone. Xiao Hongyu was glad that Yi Wenshan was not present, otherwise with that guy's character, this matter would definitely not be taken lightly. Xiao Hongyu sat back down and waved to Xiao Qingfeng, Sect Master Xiao, you announced the rules for the first game, and I will leave this matter to your management. Don't, old Xiao, you have to do this to deal with Lingyun sect. Xiao Qingfeng is old and has dim eyesight. How can he be managed there? Rong Juofen said with a strange air. After Rong Juofen finished speaking, he glanced at the great elder of Tianjin sect. The former great elder would not say such mindless words. But there seems to be something wrong with the great elder today. He is always staring at Fang Qingran and the others, wondering what he is planning. Rong Juofen, what do you mean? I'm only over years old, why am I already old? Xiao Qingfeng was so angry that his mouth was filled with smoke. He still has nearly 3,000 years to live, why is he so old? I am more than 5,000 years old, but I am embarrassed to say that I am young. You are 2,000 older than me, and you are embarrassed to say that you are not old. Rong Juofen said confidently. Xiao Hongyu felt a little headache again. Over the years, Rong Juofen and Xiao Qingfeng had quarreled as soon as they met and never stopped. We are all young people, so we can't be more prudent in front of juniors. The quarrel here was in full swing, but Fang Qingran was not affected at all. It's confused. Touch it yourself. Take out the spiritual stone quickly. Bailey Wenyu said in a brisk voice, with a look of pride on his face. This thing is not that difficult. He won the first game. Fang Qingran and the others happily gave the spirit stones. Fang Qingran turned her apricot eyes, pushed down her own card, and mixed it with other cards. Sixth senior brother, you are so powerful, you are so willing to lose. Qin Hanyan's beautiful eyes were as cold as frost, and a flash of confusion flashed across her face. It seemed that the younger junior sister could also win the card. Why should she give up the chance of winning to Bailey Wenyu? Degu Jian's eyebrows are straight and his eyes are sharp. He hasn't understood the rules yet. Degu Jianyi felt that this mahjong was more complicated than his sword score, so he decided to play a few more games before talking. Bailey Wenyu took the spirit stones given by the three people with a smile on his face. Although he was not short of these spirit stones, this was the first time he had earned spirit stones based on his ability, and he felt very accomplished. Little junior sister, the faces of the several sect leaders are not very good. Is it really okay for us to play like this? Qin Hanyan has always been cautious and has long observed the movements of Xiao Hongyu and others. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes were bright and lively. Third senior sister, don't worry, sharpening the knife will keep you from chopping wood. When we play like this, we are also observing the situation of climbing the ladder to heaven. They have no reason to be angry. Observe the situation. What can be observed in this way? Bailey Wenyu asked puzzledly. Fang Qingran was playing mahjong leisurely and pointed to the ladder. Didn't senior brother 6 notice it? Did the people who couldn't get up to the TH step disappear? 20, 50, and 100 of the watershed. Many people are stuck at this point. If they go further, they will not be able to see it for the time being. In addition, during the process of climbing the ladder, some people stayed on a certain level for too long, which proves that they're likely to undergo other tests during the process of climbing the ladder. Ellipsis. Fang Qingran listed them one by one. Bailey Wenyu was dumbfounded. Bailey Wenyu turned his head and looked at Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan. Seeing that they looked serious and nodded in approval, he was speechless. He was the only one who co-authored the book, so why did he concentrate on playing mahjong? Little junior sister, did you promise to give up the involution immediately after leaving the sect? You can't do this to me. Bailey Wenyu had a trace of sadness between his eyebrows. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 174 The Heavenly Chosen Cultivator. 6th senior brother, this is a habit. If you don't believe it, ask 2nd senior brother and 3rd senior sister. They also have this habit. Fang Qingran said crisply. Seeing the 6 directions and hearing all directions are the most basic for sword cultivators. Degu Jianyi said seriously. Check every minute, every minute. This is what master taught me. Qin Hanyan spoke of Yi Wenshan with great respect. Bailey Wenyu felt his head hurt. How to force out a chosen cultivator. That is to put people into the middle of the king of rolls. Bailey Wenyu gritted his teeth and rubbed the mahjong in his hand. Stop talking, it's your turn, little junior sister. Since I can't beat you in practice, then I will definitely kill you crazy in the mahjong game. I wish 6th senior brother good luck. Fang Qingran touched 4 mahjong pieces and looked at Bailey Wenyu with a half smile. At this time, many people had gathered around to watch the 4 people playing mahjong. The path of cultivation is already extremely boring, but now that there is something interesting, everyone will definitely want to come and take a look. Some heads of aristocratic families even asked Fang Qingran where his mahjong came from, out of curiosity. The head of the Sheng family took out the sound transmission board, recorded the scene of several people playing mahjong, and sent it directly to his own experience record. Fang Qingran heard that someone also wanted mahjong and suggested, Uncle, I suggest you go directly to Qinghe Tower to buy mahjong. The mahjong produced there is of good quality and comes with a mahjong guide. After hearing this, some family heads immediately sent people to Qinghe Tower. At this time, Fang Qingran seemingly casually played a 4 card. Snapped. Bailey Wenyu said cheerfully, bang. Junior sister, I won't be polite. Bailey Wen was much happier and touched 1, but soon became entangled, and finally he reluctantly took out a 5-tube card. Single quote. What a nonsense. I'm so sorry, 6th senior brother. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes were crystal clear, revealing innocence. Wait, why are you so stupid? Bailey Wen became more and more unconvinced. Fang Qingran pushed the card and showed it to Bailey Wenyu, who was dumbfounded. There was a hint of helplessness on Degu Jian's eyebrows. Little junior sister, you only have 5 barrels, and the only 5 barrels are in your hand. Holy shit. Junior sister, are you cheating? Otherwise, how did you know that the 5 tubes were in my hands? Bailey Wenyu looked shocked. Of course I can't be a cheater, Fang Qingran affirmed. She and Bailey Wen are getting more and more cheating. How good is her skill? Sec Master Xiao, they've been like this for 3 days, and you don't care. Xiao Hongyu finally couldn't bear it anymore and sent a message to Xiao Qingfeng to remind him. Watching Fang Qingran and others playing mahjong, Xiao Qingfeng, who was fascinated, did not react at first. Then he glanced at Xiao Hongyu and then realized that he came here to advise, not to watch this group of people play. Cough cough cough. Xiao Qingfeng coughed several times, but no one paid attention to him. Cough cough cough. Xiao Qingfeng then coughed, and then a face towel was handed to him. It was actually Rong Juofen who handed it to Xiao Qingfeng. Xiao Qingfeng was surprised. Rong Juofen said impatiently, Xiao Qingfeng, if you have something to do, leave quickly and don't disturb my study here. Xiao Qingfeng's face turned black, he was very angry, and the pressure around him emanated. Rong Juofen glanced at Xiao Qingfeng and said, can you stop turning on the air conditioner? What if it freezes them? Xiao Qingfeng was instantly furious. Holding his breath, he looked at Fang Qingran, how long are you going to play? What a fool. After Fang Qing died the Hu card, he looked at the other side of the ladder. There was no one below the 100th step. Fang Qingran stood up and replied, I won't play anymore. No, it can't end. I've only won 1 game in the past 3 days. I'm not convinced. I must win 1 game. Bailey Wensheng said helplessly. Fang Qingran sympathized slightly and patted Bailey Wenyu on the shoulder. 6th brother, there are rules in mahjong. Generally, you don't win the first game. Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan also stood up. Degu Jianyi dragged Bailey Wenyu up from his seat. 6th junior brother, let's play after the game is over. Bailey Wenyu looked at the mahjong table and reluctantly walked towards the ladder. Fang Qingran, wait, what's yours? Xiao Qingfeng said coldly. Fang Qingran looked back and said with a smile, no, I'll give it to you. You. Before Xiao Qingfeng could say anything, 4 people had already sat on it. There was a crackling shuffling sound. Xiao Qingfeng. When Xiao Qingfeng turned around again, Fang Qingran and others had already stepped onto the ladder to heaven. What surprised Xiao Qingfeng was that in less than a quarter of an hour, Fang Qingran and his party had calmly walked through the 20 steps. How can this be? There is a beauty test in the first 20 levels, but these 4 people have no impact at all. Fang Qingran didn't know anything about this. She only knew that the person who flashed in front of her was less than 1/10,000th of the 7th senior brother. Fang Qingran said in a clear voice, 2nd senior brother, 3rd senior sister, and 6th senior brother, we can walk together for the first 300 steps, but after that, we need to go our separate ways on the way to heaven. Remember, only one thing is true, and that is to go up. Everything else is false. No matter how great the temptation is, it will all be false in the end. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 175 Unwavering. Fang Qingran could only say so much. Climbing the ladder to heaven not only tests one's strength, talent, and luck, but also one's emotions and desires. Those who can reach the top must be extremely tenacious. Fang Qingran thought of Senior Dragon Emperor. She had said that she would lead Senior Dragon Emperor to the summit of glory. This is your first time climbing to the top, let's use the ladder to prove it. Thank you, little junior sister. De Gu Jian said with a stern look on his face and a tall posture. Yes, Qin Hanyan's skirt fluttered, her anger was like frost, and warmth flashed in her eyes. Bailey Wen's body is like a bamboo, with dragons and phoenixes, and his brain circuit is different. Little junior sister, you haven't climbed the ladder before, have you? Why are you so familiar? A person can only climb the ladder to heaven once in a lifetime. Fang Qingren's apricot eyes were like crystal clear glass, as clear and flawless as ever. While the few people were chatting, they climbed to the TH floor without even realizing it. After climbing to the TH floor, many people appeared in sight. Some people were exhausted and sat on the stage panting heavily. There were also people standing on the same level, punching and kicking each other. There are also people who are trying their best to move up. These people, without exception, ignore everything around them. Once someone interferes with him, they are also very ruthless. There are even some people who, even though they're covered in blood, are still holding on to the upper level with their hands, unwilling to give up and trying to climb up. Ellipsis. Fang Qingran had a panoramic view of everyone's condition. The road to heaven is undoubtedly unfair. Some people work hard, but they're not as easy as others to reach a high level. And the road to heaven is fair. Those who are unwilling to admit defeat, most of them only refuse to admit defeat on the surface, but in fact they have never struggled in their hearts. After climbing 100 floors, Fang Qingran concentrated on walking up and stopped playing with her senior brothers and sisters. The other three people also had serious faces and did not dare to slack off. When Fang Qingran passed by a man covered in blood, the man looked unwilling and roared, "Heaven is unfair. Why can you be so relaxed? Why can you walk up the 123rd steps easily?" Fang Qingran didn't look back, pretending not to hear, and continued walking forward. When Fang Qingran stepped onto the TH level, she suddenly fell into a world without any light. Fang Qingran's eyes were closed, her beautiful face showed no waves, and she was calm and fearless even as she listened to the creepy voice in her ears. Suddenly, a green light flew in front of Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran grabbed a flash of green light with quick eyes and hands, stretched out her hand and tore it off, and her vision returned to clarity. Above the high. When Xiao Hongyu and others saw this scene, they were surprised. Fang Qingran actually broke through the illusion of the ghost tent in less than half a quarter of an hour. However, what surprised them even more was yet to come. The other three people from Lingyun's sect all walked out of the ghost tent in less than a quarter of an hour. When Fang Qingran reached the TH step, a young man in grey robe said blankly, "Why can you be so relaxed? Is there something wrong with my method?" Fang Qingran was still impressed by this person, and he didn't complain. A glimmer of light flashed in Fang Qingran's eyes, and she said crisply, "Forget about the path you are going to take, and move forward unswervingly." The young man in grey robe looked at Fang Qingran's back and murmured to himself, "Forget the road under your feet. Forget the road under your feet." Suddenly, a burst of light emitted from the man in grey robe, and the spiritual power in his body circulated rapidly. The young man in grey robe sat up, crossed his legs and entered a state of cultivation. Fang Qingran had no idea that her words could completely change a person's life. Many years later, when the young man in grey robe passed through the tribulation and ascended, he left these words to his descendants. This has inspired countless junior practitioners. At this time, the young man in grey robe was completely immersed in his promotion. Fortunately, he was in the middle stage of nascent soul and advanced to the late stage, so he did not need to go through the tribulation and the time would not be too long. On the high platform, there were only a few scattered people, and the rest were all in groups of 4 or 5, gathering together to play mahjong. Xiao Hongyu had a headache when he saw that a group of people had been led astray. Yi Wenshan's apprentice is really indescribable. Sect Master Xiao, look, someone actually advanced on the ladder. An old man over 50 years old asked as he looked at the grey-robed young man on the ladder. Xiao Hongyu looked at the ladder with majestic eyes. What did he just do? The old man said. Fang Qingran passed by him and said a word to him. What did you say? Xiao Hongyu asked seriously. This old man didn't hear it. The old man said truthfully. Xiao Hongyu's eyes were heavy as he looked at Fang Qingran, who had climbed 200 steps. Generally, only monks with outstanding talents will have the opportunity to advance on the ladder. But he had seen this man in grey robe. His qualifications were only good, not outstanding at all. What on earth did Fang Qingran say to him? And this Fang Qingran, she is only at the early stage of nascent soul, so why can she climb 200 steps without any pressure? When the ladder was launched in the past, it was kept secret. Only outstanding disciples within the family and sect have the opportunity to climb the ladder. The most outstanding of those disciples only climbed the TH level, which took 15 days. But most of them will have some difficulty when they reach the TH level. And Fang Qingran's behavior was simply a slap in everyone's face. Fang Qingran was a disciple who was eliminated from the sect conference back then, but now he has left all the proud disciples behind him. How ironic. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 176 9-State Pattern. Sect Master Xiao, what are you thinking about? Bailey Xuanqing's cold voice interrupted Xiao Hongyu's contemplation. Xiao Hongyu sighed. Bailey, we were wrong after all. These disciples we despised were trained so well by Yi Wenshan. Bailey Xuanqing's eyes were deep. We are not wrong. What is wrong is this era. If we also have such rich skills, we may be able to cultivate better disciples. What does Bailey mean by this? Bailey Xuanqing raised the sound transmission board. Don't you know, Master Xiao? Someone announced that tens of thousands of years ago, in the Juzhu continent, spiritual energy was abundant and high-level skills were prevalent. At that time, everyone could cultivate the nascent soul before they were 100 years old. Even at that time, spiritual beasts and magical beasts were everywhere. The monks could have a contracted beast without any effort at all. It's just that Qingyun Prefecture will never see such a grand event again. As soon as Bailey Xuanqing finished speaking, the old man's angry voice came to Xiao Hongyu's ears. These people have gone too far. Why do they want to modify the Kyushu pattern without authorization? Xiao Hongyu glanced at the old man and Bailey Xuanqing, and took out his sound transmission card. The Kyushu continent is composed of Dailing State, Haoling State, Netherworld State, Huoling State, Tiangshan State, Qingyun State, Chuanyuan State, Miyun State, and the Bloodthirsty Alliance. Among them, Chuanyuan Prefecture and Miyun Prefecture have thin spiritual energy, and the two prefectures share the same sect. This also resulted in a very small number of monks in the two states. The last Bloodthirsty Alliance was an alliance formed by a group of people who could not practice cultivation. Because they could not adapt to places with spiritual energy, they chose to stay on a small island isolated from the other 8 states. Xiao Hongyu took a closer look and saw a map of the 9 provinces continent. The map shows the distribution locations of Kyushu. But it can still be seen at a glance that Dailing Prefecture and Haoling Prefecture divide 2/3 of the land on the mainland. The remaining land is almost equally divided among the 6 states. But it is obvious that the states ranked first are larger in area. Xiao Hongyu took a deep breath, put down the sound transmission card, and looked at the people who were happily organizing the game. He suddenly felt that sometimes not knowing anything was a kind of happiness. Maybe the more you know, the more painful it will be. What do those who reveal the truth want to do? Sect Master Xiao, why don't you speak? Bailey Xuanqing interrupted Xiao Hongyu's meditation again. Bailey Xuanqing obviously did it on purpose. Xiao Hongyu glanced at Bailey Xuanqing. Master Bailey seems to be very irritable. I'm very good. I just regret that I let the Bailey family go like this in Shunguling. It was too easy for them. Bailey Xuanqing's voice was cold. But everything is a foregone conclusion, and there is nothing we can do. Xiao Hongyu's eyes were filled with helplessness. Even with all the strength of Juju, they can't deal with the Bailey family. Xiao Hongyu was actually a little curious as to what Bailey Yuanmo and Mo Jinggong were talking about. It's just that no one knows these things. Don't you regret it, Master Xiao? We almost pushed Yi Wenshan's disciples to the opposite side. Bailey Xuanqing asked curiously. Xiao Hongyu's eyes darkened and he did not answer Bailey Xuanqing's question. Look towards the ladder. Fang Qingran spent an hour walking up the steps that others took 3 days to walk. Degu Jianyi, Qin Hanyan, and Bailey Wenyu followed closely behind, reaching the 300 level. After Bailey Wen climbed the 300 steps, his speed slowed down significantly, and beads of sweat covered his forehead. Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan looked as usual, but they both stopped at the same time when they entered the TH level. What appears in the illusion of the 350 levels is the most fearful thing in people's hearts. Most of the monks are on this level. Fang Qingran paused for a moment on the TH4, then broke free from the illusion and continued to go up. Xiao Hongyu was greatly shocked. When people face the things they fear, it takes great courage to overcome them, not to mention the time-consuming process. But why could Fang Qingran overcome it so quickly? On the ladder. Fang Qingran's jade-like eyes flashed with sarcasm. A few years ago, she might really be afraid that Su Yanran would become stronger. But now I have overcome my inner demons and just want to move forward. No one can stop her from getting stronger. Fang Qingran continued to climb with unswerving steps. When she stepped into the TH level, looking back, she could only see a few scattered people. When Fang Qingran stepped onto the TH step, a mountain-like pressure hit her. When she looked back, there was no one behind her. Fang Qingran's face couldn't help but become serious. Second senior brother and third senior sister, shouldn't they be so slow? Are they stuck in that illusion? That's all, everyone has their own way to go, and she can't interfere. For the current plan, the key is to follow her path. The moment Fang Qingran stepped into the TH level, a burst of white light flashed in front of her eyes. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself in a cold place with no one around. Fang Qingran's almond-shaped eyes showed caution. This place had never appeared in her memory in 2 lifetimes. It was a strange place. But this time, a harsh voice came into Fang Qingran's ears. Ha ha ha. Fang Qingran, do you think you ran away? Then, a group of people appeared in Fang Qingran's sight. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 177 The Secret Hidden in the Depths. This group of people is obviously not from Qingyun Prefecture. Fang Qingran did not recognize the leader, but Fang Qingran recognized Su Yanran among these people at a glance. Su Yanran was wearing a long white dress, standing in the ice and snow, looking even more fairy-like. Su Yanran apologized and said, Brother Xueni, I'm sorry. If I hadn't brought Fang Qingran here, maybe the Luo family wouldn't have been in fire. A man with sparse features comforted him softly. Sister Yanran, you don't have to blame yourself. This is something that none of us thought of. Don't worry, I will definitely catch Fang Qingran and vent your anger. Brother Xueni, after you catch Fang Qingran, can you give me a lighter punishment? After all, she is kind to me. Su Yanran gritted her teeth, her eyes full of water. Another man spoke up first. Hey, Sister Yanran, you are so kind. We will punish her lightly, but her hand tendons and hamstrings must be severed. Sister Yanran, I have everything to do with the Luo family, so you don't have to worry. Luo Xueni sounded heartbroken, and a sinister look flashed through his eyes. Su Yanran smiled like a hibiscus out of water, her lowered eyes flashed with fierceness. Sister Yanran, you came here before us, do you know the whereabouts of Fang Qingran? Another handsome young master asked. Su Yanran shook her head apologetically. I called her before, hoping that she would come out and admit her mistake. Unfortunately, I called her for a long time, but no one came out. Luo Xueni said angrily, Ha, Fang Qingran is really hateful. I have the heart to let you freeze here alone. When I find her, I will cut her into pieces. The handsome young man wondered. It's strange, it's a land of ice and snow here, and Fang Qingran was seriously injured. Why can't there be any signs here? Indeed, there is no place to hide people here. Where can Fang Qingran hide? Luo Xuanyi glanced around, his eyes cold. Fang Qingran stood up in front of the group of people and finally understood what they said. They seemed unable to see her, or even aware of her existence. Fang Qingran's apricot eyes flashed with light, and she could see them in the illusion of the ladder to heaven. They were all her memories. But this memory seems not to be in her memory. Isn't the Luo family in Huolingzhu? Why did she and Su Yanran go to Huolingzhu? Could it be a strict fighting competition? Fang Qingran's red lips curled up slightly. Ever since her last trial of the nascent soul, she had faintly noticed that perhaps there were more secrets hidden in her body. Fang Qingran stood quietly, watching a group of people rummaging through the snowy mountain, but they couldn't find the Fang Qingran they were talking about. Damn it, this Fang Qingran is really good at hiding. A group of us surrounded the entire mountain and we still can't find her. A man said angrily. Brother Qin, maybe there is another place in this snow-capped mountain that we haven't thought of. Su Yanran looked like he was hesitating to speak. Luo Xuanyi glanced around and murmured, an unexpected place. Suddenly, Luo Xuanyi took out a purple token and shouted, everyone, follow my command and look for a raised stone. Everyone heard Luo Xuanyi's words and followed them one after another. Soon, Su Yanran was surprised and said, Brother Xuanyi, I found it. Come and have a look. Luo Xuanyi walked up to Su Yanran, and the two of them lowered their bodies. Luo Xuanyi pressed his hand on the snow, and the token in his hand glowed. In the blink of an eye, Luo Xuanyi and Su Yanran disappeared. Fang Qingran's beautiful eyes flashed with surprise. She walked to the place where the two disappeared and tried to touch the stone. In an instant, a white light flashed before Fang Qingran's eyes, and she fell into a dark world. Fang Qingran looked around and saw only 4 thick walls and nothing else. However, Fang Qingran felt a strong sense of death. This place was obviously a cemetery. Brother Xuanyi, where are you? Su Yanran's soft voice came. Shush, Sister Yanran, this place is full of death, like a cemetery. It's strange, why do we appear in such a place? Luo Xuanyu's eyes were solemn. Brother Xuanyi, how come there is a cemetery on the top of the snow-capped mountains? Su Yanran's eyes flickered, as if she was hiding excitement. Fang Qingran had a panoramic view of the two people's expressions. All this was obviously planned by Su Yanran. Su Yanran seemed to have expected that she would appear in such a place. Luo Xuanyi stared at the token and pondered for a moment. Sister Yanran, I understand. Those buried here must be the ancestors of the Luo family. Sister Yanran, don't be afraid, I will definitely take you out. Luo Xuanyi patted his chest confidently. Brother Xuanyi, you are so amazing. Su Yanran praised. A smile flashed across Luo Xuanyu's face, then he took the token and started walking around the wall. When Luo Xuanyi walked to the third wall, the token flashed with purple light, and Luo Xuanyi touched the wall with his hands. Suddenly, Luo Xuanyu's hand stopped on a brick, raised his finger and drew a strange pattern on the brick. Suddenly, the walls began to tremble. Gulen. Gulen. A strange sound sounded, and a hole opened in the wall. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 178 The Strange Bridge. The hole opened wider and wider. Surprise flashed in Luo Xuanyu's eyes. Sister Yanran, come with me. Fang Qingran followed the two people through the crack and entered the long bridge. There is no protection on both sides of the bridge, and there is endless darkness at the bottom of the bridge. There seemed to be a dangerous giant beast hiding in the darkness, staring at the three of them. Fang Qingran glanced into the darkness and felt a chill down her spine. Luo Xuanyi and Su Yanran couldn't see her, but the thing in the dark seemed to be able to see themselves. Fang Qingran's almond-shaped eyes flashed with caution. It seemed that the Luo family's cemetery was not simple. Luo Xuanyi and Su Yanran stood cautiously on the round platform, neither daring to move forward. But they had only one way to go up the bridge, and the opening behind them was closed. Brother Xuanyi, I'm so scared. This bridge looks like it's going to collapse at any time. Su Yanran's voice was trembling. Luo Xuanyi, whose legs were also trembling, straightened his back instantly and said, Sister Yanran, don't be afraid. I'll leave first. You follow me. Even if spiritual power cannot be used here, I will protect you. Really? Su Yanran's eyes were filled with admiration. Luo Xuanyi patted his chest confidently. Of course, this place is the land of the Luo family. I will never be afraid. Fang Qingran stood behind the two of them and couldn't help rolling her eyes. If you're not afraid, don't shake your legs. Luo Xuanyi had no idea there was someone in the dark, so he forced himself onto the wooden bridge. As soon as he stepped onto the wooden bridge shook desperately. Luo Xuanyi stumbled forward and almost fell. Luo Xuanyi quickly retracted his feet and stabilized his body. Sister Yanran, it's too dangerous to walk across this bridge. We can only climb over it. Luo Xuanyi was confused. Brother Xuanyi, you are so brave, let's do this. Su Yanran's face was full of admiration. Luo Xuanyi immediately became confident, took out a rope and tied it to the bridge, and tied another around his waist. Sister Yanran, let me come first. You wait until I pass before leaving. Yeah. Su Yanran nodded obediently. Fang Qingran clearly saw the viciousness flashing in Su Yanran's eyes. After Luo Xuanyi went up, Fang Qingran also floated onto the bridge, but fell heavily down. Fang Qingran quickly grabbed the wooden board on the bridge, and the wooden bridge suddenly shook violently, as if she was about to fall down. Fang Qingran glanced down. The endless darkness brought boundless fear. Doubt flashed in her eyes. She had been able to float before, why couldn't she do it here? Fang Qingran turned back and glanced at Su Yanran. Su Yanran was staring at the other side of the bridge, as if looking for something. It seemed like nothing could be seen clearly on the other side of the bridge. What is Su Yanran looking at? Fang Qingran suddenly felt that maybe everything was set up by Su Yanran. Su Yanran was not surprised at first when she saw Qiao appear. While Fang Qingran was hesitating, Luo Xuanyi had already climbed a third of the way. Luo Xuanyi seemed eager to prove himself and climbed very hard. There were beads of sweat on his forehead and he was breathing heavily. In the middle of climbing, Luo Xuanyi glanced down, his face instantly turned pale, and he paused in place for a long time. Fang Qingran stood on the bridge again. Even though the wooden bridge was shaking violently, she did not choose to climb. Instead, steady your body and move forward. Fang Qingran walked up to Luo Xuanyi and looked down at him, her apricot eyes narrowed slightly. Luo Xuanyi was not mentioned in the book, so he must be cannon fodder. I don't know if he can get out of here alive after being used. At this time, Luo Xuanyi looked in the direction of Fang Qingran. When their eyes met, Fang Qingran clearly saw doubts in Luo Xuanyu's eyes. Luo Xuanyi aimed at where Fang Qingran was standing and threw an object. The object passed through Fang Qingran's body and fell into the abyss. There was no sound. Fang Qingran ignored it and continued walking forward, passing Luo Xuanyi. There is definitely something wrong with this bridge. When Fang Qingran reached the other side of the bridge, she turned around and saw Su Yanran walking onto the bridge at some point. Luo Xuanyi was so exhausted at the moment that he had no energy to pay attention to Su Yanran. Fang Qingran's eyes were deep. If Su Yanran wasn't afraid, why did she pretend to be afraid in the first place? Su Yanran quickly walked to Luo Xuanyu's position. Sister Yanran. Luo Xuanyi was slightly confused. Su Yanran knelt down and asked with a smile, Brother Xuanyi, can you do me a favor? Sister Yanran, please speak. Luo Xuanyi always felt that something was full of weirdness. Su Yanran took out a porcelain bottle and a dagger. I want to take some of Brother Xuanyu's blood. I wonder if Brother Xuanyi agrees. Su Yanran seemed to be asking, but in fact she had already stretched out the dagger. Okay. Luo Xuanyi groaned in pain, a little unbelievable. Sister Yanran, why are you? Su Yanran put the porcelain bottle on Luo Xuanyu's wound and drew blood, not caring what Luo Xuanyi thought at all. After the porcelain bottle was filled with blood, Su Yanran started cutting the rope with her dagger. Sister Yanran, what are you going to do? Luo Xuanyi sounded panicked. What for? Of course I'm sending Brother Xuanyi to meet the ancestors of the Luo family. Brother Xuanyi is so filial, so he won't refuse, right? Su Yanran said with a smile. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 179 The Past. No, you are definitely not Sister Yanran. Who are you? Luo Xuanyi shouted in disbelief. Snapped. The rope broke. Luo Xuanyi clutched the board tightly. Brother Xuanyi, you once said that you could die for me, and now is the chance to prove it. Su Yanran stood up, her face looking a little ferocious. Su Yanran raised her foot and stepped hard on Luo Xuanyu's hand. Luo Xuanyu's eyes were so painful that his eyes were split open, but he didn't dare to let go. Yanran, sister, hurry up, stop, I'm going. I can't hold on any longer. If you can't hold on any longer, go die, Su Yanran said in a brisk tone. Fang Qingran looked at the scene with cold eyes, without any emotion in her heart. Fang Qingran had experienced Su Yanran's cruelty countless times in her life. What? Soon, Luo Xuanyi let out a scream and fell down. Su Yanran took a glance and continued walking forward. Fang Qingran watched Su Yanran walk up, then opened a copper door, and then walked through the long corridors. Afterwards, they came to a hanging coffin, and Su Yanran stared at it intently. Su Yanran took out the porcelain bottle and sprinkled Luo Xuanyu's blood on the hanging coffin. Whoa! The sound of chains sounded, and the hanging coffin slowly fell to the ground. Su Yanran stepped forward and reached out to push open the coffin lid. Inside the coffin lay a beautiful woman. The woman's skin is like snow, quiet and gentle. Fang Qingran couldn't help but widen her eyes. This person turned out to be exactly like her mother when she grew up. Seeing Su Yanran's hand reaching towards the woman, Fang Qingran couldn't help but step forward and wanted to stop her, but she passed through Su Yanran's body. Su Yanran's hand took out a crystal clear bead from the woman's mouth. Immediately, the woman's skin quickly dried up and turned into tree bark. Less than a quarter of an hour later, the woman's body shriveled up and gradually turned into ashes. Fang Qingran covered her violently contracting heart, feeling the heartbreaking pain. Su Yanran took a fancy to the bead in her hand and was extremely proud. Fang Qingran, what are you going to fight with me for? You will probably never know that your life has been changed with mine, right? Fang Qingran's apricot eyes shrank, full of surprise, a different life. When Fang Qingran saw Su Yanran holding the beads, she sat cross-legged and started practicing. Why does Su Yanran want to practice in the land of death? What can Su Yanran get? I do not know how long it has been. The beads in Su Yanran's hand turned into nothing, and Su Yanran stopped practicing. Fang Qingran felt that Su Yanran's appearance was obviously more beautiful and her skin was smoother. Su Yanran touched her cheek, feeling very satisfied. Fang Qingran, I hope you can still be alive up there. Brother Xuanyu's death still needs you to bear. Su Yanran took out a purple token from the space, which was exactly the same as the one Luo Xuanyi took out before. Su Yanran dropped Luo Xuanyu's blood on the token, and then quickly made herself into a mess. Then, a burst of purple light flashed before Fang Qingran's eyes. Several familiar voices came to my ears. Sister Yanran, you finally showed up. Sister Yanran, what's wrong with you? How did you end up like this? Where is Xuanyi? Why are you alone? After that, Su Yanran cried, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. If Brother Xuanyi hadn't protected me, maybe he wouldn't have died. When Fang Qingran saw clearly, a group of people were surrounding Su Yanran, comforting her distressedly. Next to a group of people, a bloody woman lay. The woman was dressed in a torn red dress, and the white snow underneath her body was all dyed red. Fang Qingran could see clearly that that person was Fang Qingran. Strange, where did these people find Fang Qingran? Fang Qingran looked at the miserable Fang Qingran, many emotions flashed through her almond-shaped eyes, but there was no anger. Su Yanran scheming in the city government, it is normal for Fang Qingran to fail to scheming Su Yanran. If she hadn't been lucky enough to have memories in this life, maybe she would still have lived in Su Yanran's scheme. Sudden. Another burst of white light flashed before Fang Qingran's eyes. Just when Fang Qingran thought that she was about to appear in a strange place again, she suddenly found that she was standing on the ladder to heaven. Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan have already surpassed her. Bailey Wen climbed up the stairs, struggling to move. Bailey Wen saw that Fang Qingran had woken up, turned around and asked curiously, "Little junior sister, isn't this level in the past? What past has made you immersed in it for 3 days?" "In the past," Fang Qingran murmured softly. Bailey Wen nodded, "Yes. It was an unforgettable thing in the past. It took me half a day to get out. Third senior sister took 1.5 days. Second senior brother took 2 days. Only you took 3 days." Fang Qingran thought for a moment, then continued walking up the steps without any hesitation. "Thanks for the reminder, 6th senior brother, but 6th senior brother, why did you stop at level?" Fang Qingran's beautiful eyes flashed. "I just want to wait for you," Bailey Wen said harshly. Fang Qingran shook her head and walked to Bailey Wen. "6th senior brother, don't force anything. There are some things that may make life more comfortable if you change your perspective." After Fang Qingran finished speaking, he stepped onto the th4. This time, Fang Qingran clearly felt pressure on her legs. Above Fang Qingran, Degu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan also slowed down. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 180 can't see the way forward clearly. On the high platform. A group of people stared at what happened on the ladder and started talking among themselves. It's really terrifying. In just 10 days, more than people climbed the steps. 2 of them are still casual cultivators. Sec Master Xiao, it is really a wise move for you to allow casual cultivators to participate in the selection competition this time. Who is that little girl who is first? After hearing this, everyone looked upward. When they saw how many floors Fang Qingran had ascended, all the strong men showed shock on their faces. It's Fang Qingran, a disciple of Lingyun sect. Xiao Hongyu explained aloud. Holy shit, Lao Xiao, am I right? She can actually reach the th4, Rong Duofan exclaimed. The most outstanding disciples in the past could only reach more than 500 floors. How did she manage to reach more than 800 floors? At this time, a weak voice asked, "Do you think she can climb to the top of the ladder?" To the top, Xiao Hongyu's majestic eyes changed slightly. The ladder to the sky means that this person will definitely survive the tribulation and ascend to heaven in the future. In the 9 provinces continent, no one has climbed to the top of the ladder for tens of thousands of years. There are also some amazingly talented people who have climbed the ladder before, but those juniors, no matter how hard they try, cannot cross the threshold of more than floors. The height of the ladder is not up to anyone. There was an expectation in Xiao Hongyu's eyes that he was not even aware of. He actually vaguely expected Fang Qingran to reach the top. Juju continent needs a hope so much. We need someone who can break miracles. No one has ascended in 10,000 years, causing the monks on the 9 provinces continent to begin to suspect that their ancestors' ascension after overcoming tribulations was a legend. The road of cultivating immortality without hope has made countless people gradually forget their original intention of cultivating immortality. They are no longer cultivating immortality in order to pursue a higher level. They practice immortality just to gain status, wealth, and higher benefits. But the pure pursuit of cultivating immortality in the beginning is no longer visible. Perhaps, she can really reach the sky, Rong Duofan said with great expectation. Xiao Qingfeng did not refute Rong Duofan this time. If Fang Qingran can really reach the top of the ladder, the benefits will be given back to everyone. Compared with the grievances in the past, Xiao Qingfeng hopes that Fang Qingran can climb to the top. Fuck, I counted, she has walked floors, and the remaining or so floors are the most difficult. Someone has described that once you step onto the th4, your whole body feels like 1,000 pounds of weight, and every step you take is extremely painful. That's not all. According to ancient books, the last 100 floors of the ladder to heaven, each floor is a road of blood. Ellipsis. Soon, the discussion stopped. Everyone held their breath and stared at Fang Qingran. However, every time Fang Qingran took a step upward, the pain in her body increased. Fang Qingran mobilized the spiritual power in her body to maintain the muscles and veins all over her body. She could feel the overwhelming pressure coming towards her whole body. These pressures are different from the pressure of virtual gods. The pressure on the ladder to heaven comes from between heaven and earth. It is a powerful pressure that controls life and death and controls all things. What Fang Qingran fought against was the way of heaven and the will of the ladder. Even if the way of heaven in this small world is the eye that covers the sky, even if she is the owner of the eye that covers the sky, this will not give in at all. Every step Fang Qingran takes is a challenge to the dignity of her will. Behind Fang Qingran, Degu Jianyi stopped at the th step, covered in blood and unable to advance any further. Qin Hanyan is only 3 levels higher than Degu Jianyi, but just these 3 levels are enough to distance the 2 people. The 2 people's understanding is also completely different. The ending of the 2 people in the book flashed through Fang Qingran's mind. Degu Jianyi's final cultivation level stayed at the peak of divine transformation. Qin Hanyan's cultivation level has stopped at the early stage of virtual god, and he is still a 9th level alchemist. If they weren't villains, they might definitely benefit one party, but it's a pity that living in a book, there are many things that cannot be resisted. Fang Qingran's consciousness was a little dazed. Has she really changed the fate of everyone in Lingyun sect now? Fang Qingran was very sure that she had really escaped from the shackles, but she couldn't be sure about the others. What's more, she is worried that her changes will force everyone's fate to become worse. Fang Qingran walked up with one step at a time, her consciousness blurred, and the scene in front of her kept changing. Sometimes it is in ruins, sometimes it is thriving.